Hey guys, I'm your host Frank. How's everyone doing? This is episode 70 of the Hot Takes podcast, and boy, do we have one for the ages today. I feel like this has been something we've been trying to do now for way too, like the entire pandemic. We're like, all right, when are we gonna do this? It's been a while, but we're doing a Star Wars pod, and boy, is it going to be electric. I have my co-hosts all around me. I have my co-host Todd today. I have my co-host Ricky today.
Hello there.
And then Franklin, who Franklin is not as well-versed in the Star Wars universe, but he's going to participate how he can.
This is true, yes.
But, I mean, we'll just kick it off. Basically, what we will do today is we're going to rank all of the Star Wars properties of shows and movies. We won't be doing video games in a sense, but we will be kind of speaking about it. And then we'll just kind of start off now with just the intro to the Star Wars verse and how everything's been going. So I just thought we'd kick it off with Bad Batch and the news there. I mean, I'll be the first one to say that I am like ecstatic for Bad Batch as someone that's watched the Clone Wars since it was like on TV, and it was like my guilty pleasure of like, oh, what are we doing this Friday night, boys? Well, I'll be watching Cartoon Network, like whatever it was. But when they revamped season 7, I had seen some of the episodes from the uncut stuff on YouTube. Had you watched that when they originally canceled it? So they originally canceled it, and a lot of the episodes were like unfinished on YouTube. You could watch them. And I was in love with them, and they didn't follow the arcs that I loved because they had a Boba Fett versus Cad Bane arc, and that's how Boba got his dent in his helmet, and it's that they had a standoff, and Boba killed Cad Bane, and Cad Bane's bullet punctured Boba's helmet and left that dent, and like, I think it was a perfect layup that you guys could have like.
Oh man,
that sucks that they didn't cover.
Listen,
that.
I only liked it because like Cad Bane was a great villain that was like that guy that's not in your main Star Wars verse. Like he's like there, but like he's just lore. Like same thing with Asajj Ventress. Like those were people that were like we as Star Wars fans knew, but like your casual fan's not gonna know that they weren't in the movies, kind of a thing.
True. Like, who is this person when you see
exactly.
them?
Or
Ahsoka. Almost.
Ahsoka up until the Mandalorian.
Like the Clone Wars 2003, like Dirge.
I knew you were gonna. Well, Dirge is canon now. Dirge is canon now. They announced. I forgot what it was. They announced they introed a whole bunch of comics that now are considered that are canonized or made canon.
Like
and
previous
Dirge,
Legends?
yes, Legend stuff that was in the mix. As a comic book fan, because I know you're probably the most comic book, like the biggest comic nerd in the best way possible in this room.
I'll take offense.
No, I mean, dude, me and Todd. Well, Todd had it first, but Todd, can you explain, rest in peace to the greatest store on the face of the planet, the record store in Howell.
That closed down?
The record store
Me and Todd went for the closing of it.
I had a box, they would pull titles out that you put in.
Yeah.
Like you come in, you just pick it up. It was like something on a Big Bang Theory. Like, I don't know if you ever watched that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Stewart and stuff. But it was awesome. It was like a hole in the wall. You drive past it. You're like, it looks like one of those adult stores.
It literally looks like an adult movie store.
Yeah.
Like,
and you walk in, you're like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But you don't. No. You walk out with comics.
It was the best store ever. Like, I remember, like, remember when you were little? I don't know if your parents ever like took you to get a toy somewhere. Like, occasionally, like, I would go and like Toys R Us was obviously everybody's move when they were a certain age. But the record store was like for me like such a. Dude, it just like was such. It had a smell.
It had a smell.
It had this smell, and it wasn't a good smell.
It's because, it was like the rotting cardboard around the records. The eponymous record store.
The entire building was rotting. I think it's a hairdressing place now.
It is.
But
I
mean, like I said, just like that's Todd's thing. Like Todd loved I thought it was so funny that you had that, and like he'd walk in, they're like, "Oh, what's up, Todd?" Like getting your picks for the week.
It was cool. It was cool.
And
I was important. One time.
Exactly. But for someone that is so well versed in comics, like I will say I love them, but I also have a love-hate because there's so much, which is great because like think all the Harry Potter people say the same stuff. They're like, oh, like if the books were made into movies or TV shows, they'd be amazing because there's so much more material. Fair. But like comics, I feel like also are like treading lightly because like now, especially the Marvel, DC, Star Wars, there's just so much out there that it's almost hard to be like, what's canon? Like everyone's sitting at the table like, what's canon, guys? Yeah. What do we want to figure out?
Pretty much anything that
Star Wars.
Disney's
exactly anything Disney touches now
thinks that they have their blessing as being canon is now canon. I guess.
I will say this though, I really do think that Disney kind of like got their shit together after the backlash that happened with the prequels or the sequels. Excuse me.
I agree.
Like they kind of like. I mean, look what they've done with their other properties. Like they've gone into shows.
Yeah.
You know, some of the. You know, I'm not to get ahead of myself, but some of the things that they've taught, like they's fucked up with the sequels. I think we can all kind of agree with that, and that's putting it mildly.
No.
But
what if I told you one of those movies in my top 5?
Well, then I'd have to disagree with you.
But
your opinion is wrong.
Don't worry, it's not.
But I do think that like they really have, and even to Kathleen Kennedy's credit, I won't say that often, but I will say that now, they have course corrected. What they've done with The Mandalorian, bringing beloved people such as Filoni, the heir to Lucas.
Right?
They are. Now they may not have total control, but I feel like they have a lot of say within the behind the scenes stuff that goes on at Disney.
They have a lot of equity in what's
going
on.
Oh, of course. Well, but think about it. Like Filoni did Clone Wars. That was his baby, and he also did Avatar. So those are two huge properties that he's been
within Disney's
a part of.
Within Disney's ownership.
Well, I think was it Nickelodeon Avatar, right?
Yeah, it is.
But I think they because
I thought you were talking about like Avatar the movie.
No.
That is Disney.
The Avatar, the TV show, The Last Airbender.
All right.
I think they poached him from that. I mean, I might be butchering this. Any diehard Star Wars fan?
I know Mark Hamill voiced one of the Fire Lords, or
yes, correct. It
wasn't Sozin. What the hell was his name?
Todd.
It was Zuko's dad.
Let me think for a second. Let me think for a second.
Let me twirl my mustache.
Mark Hamill is. I'll make a hot take on here. Mark Hamill is a contender for one of the best Jokers. A lot of people that like what is it, the Killing Joke?
Killing Joke,
right?
Yes.
They like.
He's done more than that, but he's
he's
an
animated
of
series,
course,
everything.
but but he's. I think the Killing Joke is where.
Games,
Oh my god, yeah. But to put us back on track, I do agree to a point. Here's my, I guess, issue with Star Wars. Like, look, I'm happy that they've gotten to the place that they are now where, like, they gave us Mandalorian, it was good. They've given us the 7th season of Clone Wars, in my opinion, was a masterpiece with just everything that was put
Aside
into
from
it.
the 4 middle episodes.
I think that might be
They were necessary, but...
No, 100%. Listen, but again, that's why I said, like, to start off, why I was so mad when they had that, and I'm sitting there and I'm like... You guys had a Cad Bane Boba Fett arc that you could have put in there, and like even thrown Ahsoka in there if you really want. Like,
true,
Ahsoka, you could have put Ahsoka in there and let them duel out, like some storyline where Ahsoka's caught with them, blah blah blah. Like, instead of her being under there, she's like rolling, let's just say, with a group, and they get captured by bounty hunters or something like that, and then she watches that go off, and then she breaks free, and then she goes and meets up with the, like.
Fair. I mean, I get that. I think that I kind of had a different take on like what the purpose of those episodes was. I think that the purpose of those episodes was to show that the everyday citizenry of like Coruscant and the galaxy
how
just
they felt.
They don't like the Jedi.
Yeah.
So it kind of showed Ahsoka how far and even how corrupted the Jedi had become.
Of course.
From what they were.
And I think that's the older I've gotten, I think the more that's why I really do appreciate the original titles of 1, 2, and 3, because like I feel like we all hated 1 for so long, and like you can say what you want about it now. I still think like I really think episodes 1 and 2 are saved, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but I really think episode 1 is saved by Duel of Fates, the battle, like the Qui-Gon, that entire thing, and then I really think episode 2. I'm not even lying to you. Ever since I was a kid, every time I watch episode 2, I skip right until the Geonosis droid factory. As soon as that starts, I will watch the movie. Perfect. I'll like watch the Obi-Wan and Jango Fett fight on Camino, but besides that, you start me right at the temple battle, I'm good. And you guys will both find this funny. It was on TV the other day, and Kayla's, my girlfriend, sitting on the couch, and we're just like watching it, and she's like, what the like she's just like, what is going on? So I was like, watch this, and I I just went off on a tangent, like explaining because she was watching the Count Dooku, Anakin, and Obi-Wan fight. And I'm like, that's Count Dooku. Count Dooku was actually the Padawan. And I just went off. And she looked at me and she's like, what the absolute fuck is wrong with you?
What did I get myself into?
No, she literally, she's
will
like,
do that to
yeah, she's like, really? She's like, that's what you can memorize, but like for the longest time, I didn't know her birthday. Like when she's like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
I don't know if I should even say that.
No. I'm like, I've memorized it now. I'm saying that was like the first 5 months I like didn't know her birthday because I knew it was in June. I was like, it's June.
You were close enough. You know,
exactly.
It's coming up one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know. She said she knew my birthday off the bat, but I'm like, she doesn't know my phone number. I've memorized hers, so I'm winning that battle now.
Good for you.
But regardless, I think with what they've done, you're right. But it was almost like they put out the Battlefront games again, and that was almost like that was a dud also. I personally liked Battlefront 1. I thought it was actually pretty good, and I played a lot of hours on it. And the remakes. The remakes.
I don't know if I played the remakes.
Oh, Todd.
Consider yourself lucky.
Nah, I'll disagree with Ricky here, only because, again, like, listen, it's not the first and second original games.
Yeah, because I remember those from the PlayStation.
Nowhere close.
Okay. I think the first game is good, but I would almost put the first and second of the new ones up against the first one, just because the first one's not that great. The first one's okay. The second one is untouchable.
Yeah.
The second one, like PlayStation
2006,
okay,
2005,
cool. All right,
2000,
that one I know what we're talking about.
Untouchable. I literally, my memory on my phone came up the other day of when I went 96-3 on that game from like 4 years ago. Like, oh my god. But yes, you're right in that sense. But I will say, Star Wars for me has been something that, again, I've been fully invested ever since I was for the first time told, like, Luke, I am your father. I'm like, sick, thank you very much.
That's my dad.
Like, I literally am not even kidding. Like, I remember going to the garage sale that I got the 3 movies from. They were in plastic sets, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I still have them at my house. They were in the box. And I watched those, and I don't know how I salvaged them because I watched them so many times. But, like, I guess my childhood joy from that, and then watching 1, 2, and 3, when 7, 8, and 9 came out, it just, like, everyone that kind of sat with 7 was like, okay, like,
it's New Hope, but I can deal with it.
It's New Hope, but it's modern. And I was like, yeah, but, like, we've been waiting for and it's like the same as episode 1. It's like the same as episode 1, you know? We waited for, 20 years? People waited for 20 years to finally get it, and they were like, oh, okay, that's...
See, I agree with you.
No,
I 100% agree with you. There is, like... The prequels, especially looking back, and honestly, like, my first movie-going experience was, for Star Wars, was Phantom Menace.
There you go.
Which is, nostalgically, probably why it ranks so high on my list.
Oh my gosh!
But, like, those first, or those second, the prequel series, that was George's original vision. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, whatever the flaws may be, that was his story. He told it the way he wanted to tell it. It feeds in. It's a primer for the originals. You know, being used in the backlog.
Of course, sense.
But the sequels just came in. I was fine with Force Awakens. Didn't mind it. I know we'll get into it, but, like, it was like everything about it was just so fucking disjointed. In the sequel series, 100%. Where it was just like nothing meshed together. There was no cohesive plan,
and that was part of the reason I think that I had the issue with the director. Originally when they premiered it, they said there was going to be a director for a new director for everyone, and I was intrigued. I was like, right, that's a different take. That's interesting.
The originals did something similar, with
of course,
right.
But
so that was fine.
It was, in my opinion, where back then. And I don't know if maybe you guys agree with me or not. Movies now, I feel like when they do different directors, it does get a little bit irky because how shooting a movie has changed from when you made episodes 1, 2, and 3. Like, you don't think about it. It's so much different now. Like, think about episodes 7, 8, 9. They are nothing alike, in my opinion, with how they're shot, how they're choreographed, how the music plays out. I mean... John Williams.
Of course.
John Williams can't lose.
The one thing that saves one thing that saves 7, 8, and 9, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I just I went along with 7, and I was like, I'll give it the
wasn't
benefit of the doubt.
bad.
I was like, I'll
Right.
give it the
Right, it was
benefit of the
like,
doubt.
okay.
And I think
enjoyed
people shit on the cast. It's not the cast's
No, it's not the
fault.
No,
cast.
it's not.
They can only do
And
what
like,
they can.
and that's the same thing with. Listen, I originally was a Rose hater, but like, I'm also someone that has compassion for the fact that she was getting so much hate that like that's where I get so.
It wasn't her fault.
It's not her
No,
fault.
it's-
She didn't do the movie.
She
like,
she
didn't
was the
write
actress.
movie.
Like she's playing a fucking role.
She
Like
wasn't the one that had the dumbest line of
no.
all of Star Wars.
Listen, but I will talk
she
about.
didn't write that.
She didn't
Yeah,
write it.
She was
I-
paid to say.
Yeah, I'll talk
So-
about how much later I hate that movie, and it's not because like I've said it on the pod before. I'm super into like I'm an animal rights guy. Like I believe in all that stuff, and I'm super happy they
Big
tried to
animal
bring
rights
that
guy.
to light. Yeah, big animal rights guy. But at the end of the day, like when they did the casino scene, like that was
Oh,
an
yes,
animal
yes,
rights. They were
yes.
trying to like show the poor were able to free because they were race horses.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay.
And I was happy about that, but I was like, that was so drawn out. Like, that was a scene that you could have been like, that's done.
Canto Bite didn't really need to happen.
No, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But if you really
was
wanted to
cool.
make that a thing, you could have
It was an
put it as a.
exposition on the oppressiveness of
Yeah.
the rich against the poor.
Yeah.
And
They freed them from this casino.
Yeah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Political-
But you didn't make it
Disney-
the whole
it's always
movie. It
been
wasn't a
political.
heist out of that.
Right.
Like, if it was a heist from there
heist
to
would've
get
been cool.
a holocron.
Right.
Like there was a holocron there. It's hidden somewhere. Got to get it.
Grand prize in the casino or
and then
something.
they're trying to the movie. Ready? I'm gonna
Bet
write
on
the movie.
black.
I'm gonna write the movie right now. They went to go find a holocron because Kylo's trying to find this holocron to then go and find what was the big bads in Episode 9. He was trying to find that stupid blob on Mustafar.
I
You're
can't
talking
even.
about it was like the.
You know what I was talking about.
It's
The
it's like that.
The seat
Yeah,
sayer.
but like
It was
the
a-
head,
it was a-
like
it
it
was a
sits on the
head.
head
Yeah, it was a frog that sits on a head.
of like some giant.
I know
It looks
exactly,
like
Yeah,
yeah.
people are gonna
It
watch
was
this
only-
episode and be like, "What the fuck are they on?"
Episode 9?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you
it
watch?
was-
Did you watch it?
It was in
Yeah,
the
I did.
script,
I
the
don't
original
remember
script.
Did you really quickly? Did you like any of them?
I thought episode 7 was alright.
Okay.
Episode 9, I liked. I thought it was the
I
best
enjoyed
one
it.
out of all
I wish
three.
I could put.
It doesn't
Greg, I
rank
wish I could
high,
put-
but I liked it.
I wish I could put Greg Guckin here for this podcast because, like, I still keep in contact with Greg. I don't know if you do. You know Greg Guckin?
Yeah, of course.
One of my buddies. He's like the biggest episode 8 guy I've ever met. And it's bad. Like and he like dies on that hill. Like he's
Good for
Lexington and Concord. Like don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. He just like literally is the last stand Alamo. Like doesn't move on it. We're like, dude, this movie's bad. He's like, it's a masterpiece. I'm like, Greg, like,
Please.
I'll wait. I'll hold my comments until
All
we
right,
go.
so,
Until we
I don't know. Do you
move
guys
later.
have anything
But I
else
kind
that's
of agree with
going
you.
on right now in Star Wars that you think is like huge that we need to talk about
So-
before we kind of get into it and everything?
If-
but
I mean, obviously, I'm excited for the Bad Batch. I literally wrote things. I wrote for just this portion, just things I like, things I'm excited for,
things I hate.
and things I do not like. We'll get into things I do not like. But the Obi-Wan series, I am so pumped for that. I really think that they are going to do a good job with it. I don't know what they're saying, what Disney's saying when they're saying it's going to be the rematch of the century with Obi-Wan and Hayden or Anakin or Darth Vader, or whoever that is at this point. I don't know how they're going to be using Hayden Christensen in this capacity, but I am very much looking forward to seeing how they do it. I think the cast is really good.
I think I'll be honest, the cast isn't done.
I'm sure they're not revealing one or two people that are in it.
And like, I'll let you go, but I think there's a couple people I have to bring up that I
Sure.
think will 100% be in the show.
But yeah, that Mando season 3,
Pushed.
season 2, it was pushed. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Book of Boba is confirmed for November, December. Mandalorian's confirmed to 22.
Right, but it's not Mandalorian 3.
Okay.
Which is
No,
what
which
I
everyone
originally
originally thought. Yeah, but no, that is
good to know.
that is confirmed that
Yeah.
that wasn't happening. Thank God, because I really listen. It would have been cool, but like,
neat.
but
Because,
the
I mean,
thing
it's
is
a
give
new
us
Mandalorian.
but give us Mando. Like
I
you
agree.
made this story, we need to know what's happening. Like
I
don't
want
be
to know
like
more about Din
"Side-
Djarin.
Here's a side note. Like no. Come on, like
I mean, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay if a series diverges like that and then comes back. If it like diverges like that and then just says, "Hey, fuck Din Djarin,"
No,
like,
I
that's not what
agree.
like.
We never hear from Grogu ever
Yeah,
again.
Exactly.
Like,
I need to know. I need more
think
Baby
my
Yoda in
thing
my
with it is I was more like, listen, you have such good traction right now. Like, going to the side might help, but like Boba's not your main focus. Build Din Djarin, build his story, build Grogu, build what he's trying to do and what is being filled in this gap between those movies.
Agree.
And then give us a side story or pivot because...
I agree. I'm just saying, had they gone in that direction...
Yes, I would have been okay with it as well, but I was more like... I was just like... I was like, I won't mind it, but like, let's not because like, you guys got this. Like, you guys are doing... I'm super happy. I'm super satisfied. Please don't get on my bad side. Like, we're good. We're on friendly terms.
So... Aside from Mando Season 3 and Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka series, definitely...
Ahsoka will be interesting.
I mean, the main plot of that, they already set that up in Mando Season 2.
Exactly.
She's going to be going after Thrawn. It's going to be nice seeing Ezra and
Thrawn
and Sabine
and
Thrawn actually in live action.
Knights of Ren were cool.
Yeah.
Or, the Knights of Ren. I'm a fucking idiot.
They were cool.
They were cool.
Except they were
cool in the comics. They were cool in the comics.
Man,
they were really cool in the comics, and they would have been really great in a show.
Yep. Yes. Agree.
I want to make sure this is on.
Just to add to what you were saying about Ahsoka, I really hope that they dive like more into like the world between the worlds thing.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think
so cool. That's so
if they can retcon the sequels through that way, I'm so on board.
But that's a thing. Just another side note. I don't think like I'm also like what you have is what you have, right?
Yes.
We all agree that the sequels aren't like the best thing ever, but I think that you can patch those holes that the disjointed nature of the sequels caused.
Rey Skywalker.
That was the dumbest fucking thing ever. Don't get me started on that.
You were doing so well.
I know.
I just needed to slip that in there.
Now the train left the station. The train didn't leave the station. The conductor threw me the fuck off. But I think that they can patch those holes via television shows, not Resistance, because that was like.
The game?
No, the TV show. Oh my god!
Did you play
every episode of that show was just like I didn't watch it. I watched it. I wish I didn't.
That's originally how I'll be honest. That's originally how I felt with Rebels for like a while. I was like,
season 1 and 2 were like.
That's what I'm saying. No, but
I love Rebels.
I love
season
Rebels.
3 and 4 were awesome.
I love Rebels, but my thing was in the beginning. I was concerned because I was like Rebels was in that weird point. We didn't have Clone Wars. When did the first season of Rebels start? Was it
2014 or 2015?
So that was prior to the movies, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We didn't get...
was it a Disney acquisition at that point?
Yes, it was.
It was Disney XD, okay. Correct, yes.
So
it was on Disney, but that's the thing. It was like, I didn't know if I loved it because I didn't know the direction. Like, I knew this story and I liked the concept.
Agreed.
But I was like... what comes next? Like, because I was thinking big picture. Like, Disney was about to acquire it. Like, I think 2012 they bought it out, right?
2012 they bought it out.
So we knew
it was already a full-on Disney property.
Exactly. So we knew it was coming, but it was more like I was sitting there as the person that had watched Marvel, and I'm like, look at what even in 2012, we're like, look at what Marvel's already done. Look at what DC was building at those points where they were making these movies.
The hope.
No, and listen, at the end of the day, what was 2012? Did Man of Steel was out like the first, right? Man of Steel was out. No Batman, but Batman was still relevant.
I think
Christian Bale
Dark
Batman.
Knight Rises
Dark Knight Rises
was
like
the year prior.
Well,
I think it was
when did we
2011
graduate? Because I remember watching Dark Knight Rises with Todd in.
Dark Knight Rises was sick.
I forgot.
I don't
care
care what anybody says about Bane.
No, listen, that was you, Todd. That's why.
That was my favorite.
And it was at the Steelers game. It was at Heinz Field, so just conveniently.
And Heinz Ward just running. Oh,
yep,
shit.
Exactly.
What's going
on? Dead. All right. Really quickly, I want to just bring up the Obi-Wan show. I think Qui-Gon's going to be in it as a Force Ghost. I think Liam Neeson has said that he wanted to be involved. I would love for them to close the gap with Mace and make him a Force Ghost. If you don't want to keep him alive, I'm on board with him being alive. I would love that story arc, make a really dark show, like a WandaVision almost, like a Mace Windu kind of a thing, whatever. I don't care. I would love it. I don't think Disney's going to do it. Like, I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on it. But if that's the case, make him a Force Ghost. Like, make Obi-Wan in those. And it's hard because it's only 6 episodes.
Is it only 6?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But they're hour-long episodes.
Okay.
So that at least that's but
great.
Think about it, that's a trilogy. 2 hour each. If you think about it that way, you could break it down. I mean, it's 2.5 hours each, so it's really only 2 movies, whatever. But I'm thinking of it in the concept that they can plan it out as a trilogy. I think if they do actually, and listen, I'm more on board that they do Hayden Christensen and a rematch. But if they give us live action Maul Obi-Wan, won't be mad.
Yeah,
and I loved it. I loved
how
it.
would that
You
happen?
can't.
Though? How
No,
would that happen?
well, when did that happen?
The first time,
right before.
No, when he killed him.
Yes, but Rebels, he was searching for him. That's why he got the holocron.
And
He wanted to
we're
know where
10. What is
Kenobi
this?
was.
10 years after?
This
Is that what they said?
This is
Something like
So
that.
he's
This
not
is, so
like-
this is like well before Maul actually
about
finds
5
him on
years
Tatooine.
before
Yes.
Luke.
So
It's
Well, it wouldn't
about
work
5
out.
years before the
Unless it
would be
ended
cool.
that way.
It would be cool.
If the show
Just
ended
a
that,
live remake
it would
of
be.
it.
Listen, tell me you wouldn't be hyped if Episode 6,
Honestly,
Episode 6 of Obi-Wan started off with Ray
this
Park
is-
just his boot.
This is an unpopular
Oh,
opinion.
man.
I don't think we need an Obi-Wan show
Oh,
because I think what we saw with Obi-Wan, like what are you gonna do? Okay, I get that you can have him fighting Tusken Raiders. You can have him being like this like vigilante, like unknown force
Yeah.
for good on Tatooine. But why bring back Vader?
I don't think that's it, though.
But it takes away from the fight that happened on the Death Star in New Hope.
But
I
that's
think
why
that
I'm
just-
anti-Vader. That's why I'm anti-Vader show. I would love it.
Right.
Like, oh my god, who wouldn't love it if we could do
And
it?
I want, agreed. And I want to see Hayden Christensen come back. I want, more than anything else in this entire world, I want a Vader hunting down Order
Jedi.
66,
Yeah,
Jedi,
100%.
Order 66 survivors, and I want it to be like a horror movie, as
because
best
we
as
also
Disney can do.
to
But
the
it's just-
novice
it's not-
to the
it's-
novice
it's
fan
not
they
needed.
don't know. But that's the thing. Like the novice fan
But
doesn't
this
know
isn't
that.
for the novice fan. Like this,
Oh,
okay, Marvel. When Marvel does their things, Marvel has a plan.
Yeah,
and
of course.
They're like, all right, this is our universe. This is how we have
Yep.
to do. This is how we have to fit it. Screw the fans that don't know what the hell's going on. If you really want to know what's going on, start at the beginning. Start with
Yeah.
the movies.
Yeah.
If that's how it's going to be with Star Wars, make it that way with Star Wars.
Of course.
It's such a rich universe
Yeah.
where you have the potential to go in so many different
It's
fucking
so much.
directions.
That's
You
why.
don't-
Everything
to do
doesn't
this.
have to be the Skywalker saga.
But that's
too.
what pisses me
True,
off.
but I
about
also
Star
love the
Wars.
Skywalker.
No, of
saga.
course.
Like I want
But-
Ben
Yeah.
Solo coming back. big time.
That's the thing that pisses me off about Star Wars is the fact that it is so much more. Like it is literally the biggest concept. Like I'll be biased
It's
and
the
say
second
it's
biggest.
bigger.
I think it's the second biggest IP on the planet.
No. But I'm saying it's a bigger universe than like the Marvel universe. Like you can argue and say that Star Wars in context and in lore and whatever is larger, and that's what pisses me off. Is that like when Disney took it over, it was like, nope.
Yeah, funneled
Tatooine.
everything.
And then they just made a couple random planets, which I'm not shitting on, but like again, it's like
It's a
okay.
galaxy. You can make the planets fit.
My only thing I'll say about your opinion with Obi-Wan, I agree with you. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily want to see all that, fighting Tusk, because we've seen that in Mandalorian now in season 2. But here's my thing: I think it's going to explore Obi-Wan in like a PTSD almost kind of a mantra where he's learning to become one with the Force because he's learning to talk to these guys, Yoda, Qui-Gon. Maybe even Count Dooku.
I'm for that growth.
He's doing that while also just keeping an eye. Like I don't want to see like Luke be out there like hunting a frog and then Obi-Wan's like, "Dude, you're a Tusken Raider, you're dead." Like I don't.
In the comics, he did that.
Yes, but I don't
had to
necessarily
happen.
think it needs to happen because I think, in all honesty, the first 3 episodes I would be okay with not seeing Luke and just seeing Obi-Wan right afterwards.
I don't think we need to see Luke at all.
But
I think we will.
you
I
have.
think we
I
will. I'm
think-
just saying.
have
I
to
don't
see
think
Luke.
we
Oh, no,
have
no,
to.
we
Because
don't. We wouldn't
that's why
need
he
to.
stays on Tatooine.
In my
His
opinion,
exile is there to protect.
It would be
Luke.
the best thing to end it without seeing him, and then like the last scene is like him looking at Luke, who's like baby Luke looking at the twin sons.
Yeah.
Boom! You're welcome, Disney. I'm purchasing that IP real quick, but no, yeah, I agree though. I understand what you're saying with it. I don't necessarily think it's needed, but listen, the only other good thing is like, I mean, Ewan McGregor is there, so like
Ewan
at
McGregor's
least
sick.
at
I'm
least
cool
that's
with that 100%.
at least that's the guy, and they weren't like, oh well, maybe we'll like. If originally I heard recast like when there was nothing concrete, and I was like,
No, don't even attempt
you're
it.
literally taking a guy that's aging, like he's aging. Ewan McGregor is getting old enough to
he's
get
20
to
years
that
older
point.
than
He's
the last
looking like
Star Wars
Alec
movie
fucking
he's
Guinness.
He's looking like
every
Alec
day.
Guinness every day,
It's
and
just-
they're gonna do amazing things to make him look like him with the beard.
Yeah, it'll
Listen,
be,
I'll let Rick go because I know
Yeah.
Ricky wants to say something,
So-
but damn.
Next, the Taika Waititi film. I cannot wait for that to come out.
Of course, he's the man.
Taika's a brilliant director. He's gonna make Star Wars funny.
Yep.
Without like overtly trying to be
Of
funny.
course, yeah.
You know, like how.
Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
Oh, it was hilarious.
Jojo Rabbit.
I've never seen.
You need to see
know,
it. As a war buff, as a history buff, you would love Jojo Rabbit. It's one of the best movies in concept ever. This guy's imaginary friend is literally Hitler.
Right, and
as
it's like Hitler, but like
the funny Hitler,
from like
the
a child's
flamboyant Hitler, like a
perspective.
child's flamboyant, fun Hitler, not in a bad way at all.
I read about it where he was like
Good guy
the
Hitler.
biggest
Good
like,
guy Hitler.
Yeah, it was like the biggest like fuck you to Hitler because he's like, yeah, I'm part Jewish. He's like,
yeah,
what's a better way to say fuck you to that?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and
So
like you said, Taika's amazing.
He's gonna make it. He already directed the episode of Mando, and that episode was awesome.
that was good.
Did he
next-
direct the episode with IG 80? What was it?
I think it
88.
was-
Sacrificing itself.
It was
I think
88 though, not 11.
7.
No,
I
it
think it was
was
chapter 7.
It was 11. It was
Okay.
11.
Chapter 7 out of 8 chapters in the first season.
Okay,
I think he did 7.
all right.
After that, just in general, Jedi Fallen Order 2 and EA no longer having the exclusive rights to Star Wars video games. Thank
God.
fucking God.
No, we love that. We are.
That is the best decision that Disney's made to terminate their contract with EA since they purchased Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that EA doesn't have
Does not
exclusive
touch
rights
that,
because
yeah.
they're like, oh wait, we can have
Anything.
all of these game developers
Yeah.
tell these stories that we want
Yeah.
to tell and okay it if it gets out.
Didn't
Yes. How
didn't
much
they
more money
confirm
can we
us? Didn't they confirm an open world? Like
Yes,
I think
yes.
it's in very very early stages.
Ubisoft is making it.
Perfect. I love that.
People aren't happy about that.
Yeah, Ubisoft
course
is
not.
notoriously
Ubisoft, it's got the controversial
Ubisoft is
side of
like EA's redheaded step cousin.
Yep.
So
Listen,
it's
They've done some good things with Assassin's Creed, but then they've also done some.
and
Bad
some of the
things
Tom
with
Clancy
Assassin's
games.
Creed.
Yes,
Assassin's Creed.
It's like
Assassin's Creed is one of the funniest franchises ever. Because
It
it's
used to be so good.
It
Now
used to be
it's
so
just
good,
like-
and then they're like Assassin's Creed 15 in space. Like,
Templars are going to the moon.
yeah, the Templars are also cousins
go.
with Reagan. Like what? I love that concept.
Well, yeah. So those are the things I like and things that I'm excited for right now.
Okay, I'll also really quickly, I'm going to Florida in a month, and I'm super bummed because I was going to go to Disney for one day and go to the Star Wars. I call it
Outpost or
Star
whatever?
Wars Land is what I like to call it. I don't like Dark Spire Outpost or what is it?
It's cool.
No, they're all.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I had a good time there. I don't think it's
No, I mean
anything
they haven't.
to write home about.
They made it as an intro, and they wanted to see what they would get with it, like how much success, how much people would love it, and people loved it, even though it's the size of this room, like. No,
is it small?
But they're
isn't it
also
tiny?
opening up. It's tinier than I would have liked.
Well, of course.
There's only
I mean,
2
yeah.
rides. I was there when only the first Millennium
And that
Falcon
was Millennium
ride was on.
yeah, and now it's the Millennium Falcon, and then the drive-through, right? The AT-AT one where you're
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
pod thing on the First Resistance.
Is that the one where like Finn is your guide or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
I watched
Maybe
like
basically
a video
you're-
of it on YouTube. It's a pretty cool ride. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
to
it
be
looks
in,
sick. But I think they've already confirmed that they're expanding that drastically. Like, I
they
think
should.
right behind that or next to it, they kicked out whatever. I only really wanted to go because it's like right during my birthday, brothers.
There we go.
But I was going to go and build my own lightsaber, and that's like the only thing I
That's-
like really
agreed.
like. As like the biggest Star Wars nerd ever, like I have almost like every lightsaber in my collection, which I hate saying. Like,
Do you
so
really
much.
lightsaber?
Do you
No,
really?
I mean because
Hang them in
again,
your
what
closet
am I
next to
supposed
my
to do? Like,
shoes.
hey Kayla, like
Grievous
just like she comes home one day, I'm just nailing in the
Can you hand
wall
me that
like.
shirt that's next to Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, please?
Yeah, have you ever seen? Give me the dual bladed lightsaber. Darth Maul's really quickly.
You just really passed up on the General Grievous, just another lightsaber to have in the collection.
Another fine night. I can't. I'm not even gonna try. I'll butcher that,
was
shit.
bad.
All right. Well, whatever.
I mean,
All right. We'll just stop.
a
We'll
Coca-Cola
just stop the
bottle
podcast.
I got a Coca-Cola bottle from there that was in the shape of a thermal
The
detonator.
thermal
That
detonator.
was kind of cool.
Oh, that's
Were you
cool.
able to bring it home?
Yes.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
do you remember originally you couldn't?
No.
Yeah. So when did you go? You went let's say a year
Late
in.
2019.
So
September
it was
2019.
probably it'd been open for 6 months or whatever,
Yeah, give or
maybe
take.
a year. Originally, when it opened, they weren't letting you fly with them because they looked like grenades,
Grenades.
and like they would see it in the baggage. They'd be like,
Fucking TSA's
"What's
all over
that?" Yeah, exactly.
It's just a thermal detonator. Don't worry.
It's a thermal detonator. Yeah, but I think now, obviously, I think you're like good to go.
I think they realize, wait, this is made of plastic.
Anyone coming out of Orlando, they're
Doesn't
like,
even
oh,
pass
it's just
through
another
the-
thermal detonator. Don't worry about this one. Like, which is its own issue in that side. But
Doesn't even set off the metal detectors.
yeah, I was a big fan. So I'll be honest, I really loved the Fallen Order.
Yeah, that was really
game.
good.
Really great game. I'll be the first one to tell you I got super frustrated on one level and stopped playing. And it took up so much room on my PS4 at the time that I like moved it to external hard drive, and it like wouldn't transfer back correctly. Like it would take like 2 hours to do it, and I was like I want to just play it really quick. I was like I just want to play it really quickly, and I was like I'm not going to wait 2 hours. But I did watch, like, if I'm invested like that, in which I am in Star Wars, I'll watch all the cutscenes. So I watched, like, all the cutscenes and I became, like, more versed in it. And, I mean, like, it's so cool. I really was holding out.
So badass.
I thought Kale
loved it.
Kestis was going to really be in Mandalorian. I thought if they didn't pull Luke, I thought Kale Kestis would have been awesome for it. And it would have been a great way to still get your diehard Star Wars fan to be like, oh, shit, like, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
I think Luke was good.
Oh no! Yes,
We'll get into that.
It was good.
Yes.
I'm irritated that they didn't put a little more into it. Where it's I was nitpicky with it. I was like, okay.
I wholeheartedly disagree. And it's
You thought it was great?
Oh my god!
No.
I watched it. When I watched it, I was watching it
cry?
with Colin. No, but literally, we're sitting there. I thought it was going to be Ezra. I was like, I think it's going to be Ezra that's coming back. I really think that, you had already set it up with Ahsoka. She's still hunting Thrawn just based on that episode. I was like, Ezra's coming back. We saw the fucking X-Wing, and Colin and I, who's my brother, we both jumped up and we started wailing on each other. We're like, it's Luke!
Shit out of each other.
It's Luke! He's coming back!
Bah!
We went nuts. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. We watched it when it aired. Parents yelled at us.
Yeah.
So
I did this. No, I did the same thing. Yeah.
I loved it. I watched that episode 4 times afterwards, like the next day, right immediately after.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been happier. I was a pig and shit in that day.
I cried. I'll be completely transparent, and it's. I mean, like I
cried too.
don't want to
wasn't
be
because Luke showed up. It was because
Baby
Grogu and
gone.
Din were, that was just. I was
No,
like,
that tore at my heartstrings. I was like, oh shit, man. And like, Kayla asked me in the morning. She's like, oh, so like, how was it? I'm like, good, but baby Yoda's gone. She's like,
it was bittersweet.
and I won't put her on blast. She'll never watch this, so it doesn't matter. Because like I strictly tell her not to, because I'm like, I might talk shit about you, so like, don't watch. I never do, but I'm like, don't, whatever. But it was so funny because the other day she's like, I was telling her about it. She's like, Baby Yoda, who's Grogu? She's like, what do you mean it's Grogu? She's like, it's Baby Yoda. It's the baby version of Yoda. I'm like, I love you're so cute. I was like, I can't get into this right now. But so I cried, and it was because like again I have that attachment with Luke. Like when I was a kid, I was convinced that was why I was named Luke. Like that was my thing. Like when I was little, I was like, oh, this is why. This makes sense. I love this guy. He was my favorite. So it was great. I am just like, I was more mad not because of it was him. Like, I was completely, like you said, a pig in shit. I was like, oh my God. I was crying. I was like, holy shit. Like, why did they just do that? I watched the episode right again afterwards, and I still had the same response. It was more, and we've talked about this, Frank, it was when you saw his face, I was like, you guys look like you might have just a little bit cut corners. And it's okay.
It's a TV show.
But the thing is, it's Disney. They have that
Disney has
money.
unlimited money.
Which means I like Disney. I'm biased towards Disney. As much as I talk shit about the sequels and stuff, I think that they put in as best as they could for a television show. You don't have the budget.
No, 100%.
So what you have to do is you got to make it work. You got somebody whose body type is similar to Luke. You try to get the facial stuff as close as you can.
And they did it. It's not like they butchered it.
Right.
It's not like by any means they butchered it. Again, I'm being nitpicky because I can be. I'm on a podcast that revolves
you could tell
around.
they deep faked.
Yeah,
you could tell it was a deep fake, and it just wasn't.
But
his face, and when you've had someone, when they've done in Rogue One, where they completely re-digitalized Grand Moff Tarkin's face and made it
which I thought was good.
Perfect.
Oh, I agree.
And I thought Leia was
Tarkin
good, and
awesome.
people talked a lot of shit about both of them.
I didn't mind.
People talked a lot of shit about both of them. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the technology at the time, I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it's not a human.
No, of course not.
But,
yeah.
like, for what they were able to do, I mean, they didn't...
It's a show
do
with
that
aliens, so yeah.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, it wasn't up to that par.
Again, no,
I understand.
yeah,
I do understand the critique.
They
Tom's going to die on this hill, so...
Exactly.
They did a good
Nothing
job.
you can
They didn't
say.
do a bad job by
Nothing you
any
can say
means,
will
but
change my mind.
you could tell that it was, like... It was just something was a little off.
Yeah. And I think also to back up that point, the only other thing I'll say with it, and like again, I don't care. Like I'm not that guy that's like I'll never watch Star Wars again because there was a guy in jeans. Like, do you remember the jeans guy?
Oh, I just think that's awesome.
So no, that's hilarious. But so like that's I think the other thing that kind of got me a little bit like that's where I was like, okay, you know. When all of those things happen, and that listen, you go into post production, like things slip through the cracks. It happens. It's whatever.
But if those are our two biggest complaints from the entire series, like
you're fine.
You know what? Hey, there's a gag, there's a gaff. You know, whatever. It happens.
No, 100%.
Coffee
but
cup
I
in
think
a medieval.
Exactly. Game of Thrones. The Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
No, I think I
would
agree.
ever do that.
And it happens, and it's like I'm not sitting there like I'm furious over it. But it's more like the jeans guy was funny, the coffee cup guy was funny. It was more that, again, it didn't take away from that moment. Again, I told you, I cried. So it wasn't like I was like, the fuck? Like, that wasn't me.
Right.
But when I watched it again and I kept watching it got better. But the first time I saw it, because I think another problem is that we also, as like fanboys, heard the Sebastian Stan rumors. And like, we're like, oh, it's going to be Sebastian Stan. He's just going to do it and he's going to play him. And people then kind of were like, so, because Sebastian Stan does look similar, like you can get away with it.
And then if you CGI him,
and then you CGI him, and it almost, you can kill it with that. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't that I was like, I'm done watching this, I'm never going to watch it again. I was just like, okay, like, it almost looks like they put it out and they were like, we're ready to go. And it's like you didn't double check your paper. Again, not an issue.
Instead of getting a 97, they got a B+.
Yeah, they got a 90, in my opinion. I wouldn't even put it in B+.
No, I give it a straight A because no matter how bad it was, we still got
the moment.
Yes,
I was like, hey,
yes,
that's it. That's all I need.
We've spent like the last 5 minutes just completely like nitpicking a
specific,
shadow on the side of his face that wasn't lined up correctly.
No, and
we're spoiled to be thinking like that.
We're Star Wars fans,
but it's valid. I mean, I get why. Like I get it. You know, I get it wasn't as well done as maybe it could have been. Maybe it should have been.
Yeah.
You know, I just for what it was, the reveal
was amazing.
Of having not seen Luke on a live action screen since 1983, some shit like that. 86. What was it?
No, because Mando came out. We saw him in 8.
Oh yeah. Well.
Oh, okay.
What?
As an infant, okay.
Oh well,
thanks.
no. I thought you were.
No, I meant like we didn't. Okay,
So young Luke. Okay.
We haven't seen Mark
Hamill as young Luke. All right,
since 1983.
I'm sorry.
Since circa 1980.
Don't kill me, Todd.
Right? Yeah, I will. I'll rage across this table. Done.
But
listen.
It was nice. It was nice.
Like you said, hopefully it won't be canon.
Yeah, it's almost
the one part of Luke, the 7, 8, 9 Luke.
Oh,
like
you know what?
They go into the alternate.
I think you can't decanonize.
No. Of course,
it takes away from the actor's performance, and then it takes away from some people that I mean, as much as we like to shit on it.
Yeah.
Rey is, for as much as a Mary Jane as she may be, but I mean, then again, so too are a lot of other people.
Yeah.
It's good. It is good for like little girls to be like, hey,
I want to be Rey. I want to be
sick.
Yep. Yeah.
Now I think that Rey should have stayed a fucking Palpatine because I think that it just adds more to her story.
100%.
I also think they should have killed off Ben Solo.
Well, I mean, no. We'll get into that in a little bit.
I will die on that hill.
I agree with you with the
over.
Palpatine thing though, because it's almost like she took her dead husband's thing, like that, like his
Yeah, but
they hooked up once, and it's like, oh, that's my boy, that's my boyfriend.
Right.
Like,
but
what?
She could have been so much more. Like I
100%.
want to see her like start her own Jedi Academy.
But,
I want to see her start her own Jedi Academy
as a Palpatine.
That
would have been a wild turn.
That's a nice redemption arc.
That's what I want to see.
Imagine that, like, oh shit, your grandpa, super bad dude. You, really cool girl. Nice.
It would be. It's a It would have been an excellent parallel to the Anakin Luke saga.
Yeah.
Anakin joined the dark side. Luke basically redeemed the Skywalker name.
Yeah.
Then he died.
Yep.
And then a Palpatine became a Skywalker.
Yeah.
I just think that's fucking
It's like
stupid.
poetry. It rhymes.
So, all right. So Todd,
As the famous George Lucas once said.
as the famous Jar Jar Binks once said, "Misa poetry, rhyme you must." Yoda. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about with going on now? And if not, we'll hop right into this bad naughty boy list.
I'll keep it quick.
This Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
So like Bad Batch.
Shut up.
Shut up! I'm trying to
Kill me, please.
Try to speak.
But no, I think that like Bad Batch, I'm excited for. I do think that either the clone child that they're showing that's going to tag along with the Bad Batch is either going to be a like somehow
Force
like
sensitive.
I think it's going to be either force. I think that it's going to be force sensitive. I think it would be cool to go that we fucked up this batch and one of them just happens to have some. I'm going to say the taboo word, midichlorians. I know. But like it's going to be, it's going to
people will get up in arms over this. I have no.
It is, but I think
you just got a gun in the corner. Like
don't say it. Don't say it.
I know what you're trying to say. The M word. Don't say it.
The Eric Andre meme of like Star Wars fans, midichlorians shooting them. Anything about episode.
Why did he kill him? But I think I think it could be a girl.
I think
it could be like some sort of non-binary, like whatever. And I think that if they went in that direction, it could be problematic. I think
they're going to get a lot of backlash.
No, but
if they do
as in
that.
this is a bad batch.
No. Of course.
Like I think that's going to be that.
Listen,
if they went that direction,
it's going to be amazing, in my opinion, if they do that, because that will tie into Grogu's story because they're trying to get his things, and it'll be because. This one gets
kid,
away into the universe, and
how did
they get away? And Bad Batch dies protecting her, or vice versa, or him or her, whatever.
Right.
Sorry.
We don't know yet.
Anything like that, but make that arc like that. She disappears. She's off the grid. She, whatever. But like do it that way, and then that's why. I mean, that'll tie in so perfectly with the Grogu thing, and like make it that way.
Agree.
I think that's a genius concept. In all honesty. I was going to tell you something else. Oh, did you hear the Bad Batch is supposedly loosely based on oh crap, I forgot.
Not Scar Squadron.
No, the 2014 Penn State football team, and he's gonna kill me.
You really want to fuck? You want to go there? You want to? Is that how this conversation's gonna go?
No,
God damn. Such a dark turn.
No, also, it wasn't 2014.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
It was 20.
I thought it was.
It must have been 2012.
I think it was before.
I think you were in high school.
I just wanted to listen. Every time I see Todd, I always
fucking
crack a little
rise.
joke.
Yeah, well, you got it.
I always get a little joke. No, if I had said, "Oh, it's loosely based on," bleep the following. What I'm
Jerry Sandusky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Luring little boys into a shower.
I'm not even going to put up a defense because I don't know how much we're going to cut. So,
why do you think it was called? Why do you think it was called Bad Batch?
I don't want to get anybody.
I'm sorry. Was there a
No. I just wanted to. I shot a dig at Todd. It was 100.
Evil mastermind.
We are, motherfucker.
Dude, so I don't know if you thoroughly watched this, and I do it randomly in the episode, but I think it's recorded that every episode I bring up The Walking Dead. I've brought up The Walking Dead now. I do it every episode, and I play Frank out every single time. We'll make a list with like top 10 movies of all time, and I'll be like, am I number one? Just like one of the best cinematic things I've ever seen in my life. I just really think the storyline and the plot.
Season 10 of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Carl! Go right into it. But I have to do it. On a side note, if we take Micah Parsons, is that cool as a Giants fan?
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Micah Parsons.
Okay,
he's a terrible person.
Perfect. Yeah, heard he's not the best dude.
He's not don't.
I know I don't want to.
Quick side note.
It's fine.
Okay,
we're taking a little pivot.
The Micah Parsons wouldn't, as great as he is.
I love this. Sean Lee fan right here, everyone.
Beat the shit. You're damn right I am. He could beat the shit out of me in a heartbeat, and he probably would if he ever saw this. He's not linebacker U. All right,
perfect.
Linebacker U is 4'3" downhill.
Of course,
Paul
broken
Posluszny,
nose as
Dan
many
Connor,
times as
Sean Lee, Tim Shaw, who was from fucking England. All right, and Shane Collins. I mean, even you have Mike Maudie.
Yeah.
Mike Maudie under the
Todd's
O'Brien
gonna
years.
just go.
All right.
This is
He's
a
not
Penn
it.
State football
He's
podcast
not it.
now.
He's not the guy.
No, and that's fine. And I wanted
Franklin's a snake oil
the only
salesman.
reason I wanted to ask is because for the most part I know we're Giants fans and like this year's on a complete
Take him. I hope
side
he does
note.
well.
I agree.
This draft is a
Penn State.
crapshoot. I have no idea who we're
So
taking.
and again as like the guy that literally spends way too much free time like doing draft shit, like watching way too much film, watching way too much like of all that stuff. He's cool. He's a good player. I just like for Giants where they sit at 11, it's just like for me, that's like that you got to get like a top quality guy. You trade back, he makes sense. Get him a little bit later.
Goose isn't trading back though, but that's
No,
let's save this discussion for another time because
I just wanted to
quick,
mess with Todd, and I'm
30
trying to
seconds,
now like
30
I'm trying to
seconds,
brick the wall. I'm trying to build it back together, Humpty Dumpty, really quickly. Just like, oh Todd, like
30 seconds. He is, for the number that he wears, he's no Navarro Bowman.
Oh,
and he is absolutely not LeVar Arrington.
Todd is not
That's
happy
it.
about
That's
the
all I'm
number.
ending. That's all I'm
so
ending on.
happy that I know
He
this
doesn't
now.
deserve 11.
All right. Complete side note. I
180.
love that. Wanted to completely turn this shit on its head. We're going to get into the main topic now. Oh, boy. We're going to do our 15 to number 1 on Star Wars shows, movies combined. I don't know if you guys are down, but what I think we should probably do with it, 5, 5, and 5, and we can just talk about them as we go and keep going around. So I'll do my 15, 14, 13, 12, 11,
Sure,
10. Then you do yours, and we can all kind of talk about it as we go,
Sure,
whatever. Todd, I'll let you go first because I think you have a couple more and you broke them down into more categories.
Yes.
So I'll let you kind of start off, kick it off.
So basically, I misunderstood the rules, and I divvied up some of the shows. First off, I kept them in separate lists, so I had to recombine them. I don't know why I'm also talking. Am I talking to the crack camera?
You are talking.
Okay, awesome.
What do I
There
do
we
with
go.
my hands?
What do I do with my hands? You don't chew Big Red. Fuck you. So the last one that it comes in dead last, and I am so glad it comes in dead last. I'm so glad I'm fucking done with it. Resistance. I get it was made for kids, and I'm damn near 27 years old. It wasn't made for me, but the quality of it was just absolute shit. I felt like there was a character in there who could have been awesome.
It was a Clone Wars knockoff, right?
No, it wasn't even that. It was like
the animation style was
like
so
Rebels and Clone Wars
weird.
on
the animation
on
style,
acid.
like it played with my like eyes. Like I don't know why.
Oh, 'cause
but
it was blurry.
I was like, oh,
Didn't it
this
look
is fucking
blurry?
It was like meant to be like a weird like CG anime.
It looks like when you watch a 3D movie and you
Yes.
take your glasses off.
But you got used to it. I will say that like that was not my biggest gripe, and I have plenty, so I'll keep it few.
Todd pulls the Santa's list down of just. I'd like to thank everybody.
Yeah. But no, basically they like Kaz, the main character. Kaz sucked. He was dumb throughout the entire seasons, and nothing he did was ever correct. They had an awesome opportunity to introduce like a force sensitive at some point. You know, her name was Micah Parsons. Who was basically a Sith
it all
relic hunter.
connects.
Yeah,
It all
but she was
connects.
badass. She was funny, and you watch the episode and they're like, "Oh, she's gonna be a Jedi. She's gonna use the Force at some point." She's not. It was just like they had the
red
layup, didn't do anything.
Did you say gray?
Gray,
As in Gray Jedi?
as in Gray Jedi. That's what I thought, but wasn't the case.
That'll never get canonized, so
fuck
whatever.
The Resistance. Star Wars Clone Wars the movie, like the 2008 one where they save like baby. Fucking
That's gonna be
Baby
at the
Jabba
bottom.
the
That's
Hutt.
gonna be at the
Jabba.
bottom of mine because it didn't.
That
even
one
make
sucked.
that.
That one
It's just
sucked.
like that's.
It was bad.
I watched it just because I was like, I
One of
need
the
to
rare
know
misses
this for
from
the
day
canon.
four.
And
Yeah.
I was like, this just sucks.
That's what jump started the show, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
It wasn't.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Poor Ashley Eckstein got so much hate for Ahsoka.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
and
She
so
got
much
hated
hate.
for that.
It's
That
so funny
poor
too
girl.
because she literally became like one of I would probably go
beloved.
and say one of the top 5 like characters of current Star Wars. Like
the most beloved.
again,
yeah.
not me. The younger generation probably loves Ahsoka. I mean, like Disney would make stupid money on like
Yep.
her
Just the headdress, just to sell it.
yeah, stupid money.
What do I have
no,
next? I
We
have
have Ray, and they chose to go.
Listen, stop.
Ray's
This is
fine.
not a
Ray's
Ray
fine.
slander
Ray's
podcast
fine.
because I actually enjoyed Ray's character. Like she got the shitty end of the stick. Like
Yo, she did.
She
She absolutely
literally
did.
vocalized
Daisy
that she
Ridley
was
got
like,
Daisy Ridley got screwed, as did
And she
everyone
got
in the rest of the
blueballed
cast.
from Hollywood afterwards. Disney was like, "You're not going to work in Hollywood anymore." Like, and I don't think she's gotten a role. She got
Orient
Chaos
Express.
Walking. I like Orient Express.
I've never seen the Orient Express.
Orient
but
Express is
I'm all for
not
it.
good, but like it's like
And
a
it has,
turn
like,
your
Josh
brain
Gad
off.
and
Turn your
stuff.
brain
Yep.
off. This is enjoyable. Yeah. And it's also from like an old school movie that I used to watch with my grandma. So like
so,
Orient
yeah,
Express
of course.
and then Murder on the Nile, I think are like canon.
Oh.
Yeah, those two movies are like
But
in
they're
the
like,
same.
it's like a famous like mystery writer. who
Yes,
writes
yeah,
those.
yeah,
I forget
yeah.
what the
But
fuck
they're
the
all
name
they're
is.
all in the same like whatever, and they made them in the 50s, 60s, whatever.
yep.
And now they've remade them.
like
and they're good.
Hercule Poirot. And
Yes,
stuff like
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Who is loosely based off Todd's mustache?
You're damn right it is.
Are you a Raleigh Fingers, Hercule
Can't see
Poirot?
it.
What
Huh?
what else? What is the mustache inspired off of?
Monopoly Man? No,
Gotcha.
but you can't even see it. Under the Light, maybe. But
You can see it
no, it's a
pretty
lacrosse thing. But the next ones up, I have Clone Wars seasons 1 through 3. It's okay.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just got to
it-
get through it. I will say
You
that
got
my
to definitely got to just get through.
My favorite episode though is in season 2. It's called Cat and Mouse. It's basically the submarine episode.
Okay,
where they're
yeah.
like invisible. Like I thought that was sick. It was. I'm a big fan of Hunt for Red October and
Yep,
stuff.
gotcha.
Like I was like
the
okay.
new one, right?
Yes, the new one.
No, isn't it the new one? Was with Josh Drake and Josh's whatever? Wasn't that the Hunt for Red October?
I have no idea what you. What?
Was it Red Dawn? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, you're thinking of Red
Red
Dawn.
Dawn.
You're thinking of
Sorry.
Red
Dawn.
Dawn. That was
Yeah,
Josh Peck.
sorry.
Yeah.
The new Red Dawn was Christian
and they
Hemsworth.
They make it the North Koreans
Josh
as if that's
Peck,
even
yes.
feasible, right? I mean,
North
if you're
Koreans.
really gonna do this, if you're gonna make this movie,
Russia.
look at the Chinese
Or
Grow some
Russia,
balls.
yeah.
No. We already did.
You can't
Russia.
sell to the
That was-
Chinese, though. That's the
can't.
problem.
That's the thing.
It's gonna
It
be
will
a
never-
big-
It would never
How
air in
dare that
Beijing.
you insult the CCP?
This podcast is not going to get
So,
on YouTube just
it's a-
because we talked about big.
It's just unrealistic. My gripe is unrealistic. That's all. Clone Wars seasons 4 through 6. It was awesome. It was
Yeah.
great. But I just couldn't I based this all on would I rewatch
Yeah.
if I sat down and watch it.
Did it? Yeah.
So basically it ranks behind. Then up next I have Force Awakens as my first first real film as my
Really?
last one. I enjoyed it.
And
I
Force Awakens is your last of that trilogy.
it is the
You rank that the lowest out of those movies.
I would rank it the lowest out of those movies.
Okay.
And my main reason being is that for watchability.
Rankability's fine.
Rankability.
It's a word.
Yeah, maybe.
Document it.
But so for watchability, I based it off of that. So I was
Okay.
like, you know what?
Watch it once.
I would watch it once.
You're done.
Maybe if I catch it on TBS, I'll see certain portions of it.
TBS is the goat.
Very
Always.
funny.
But I'm not gonna sit down, go on Netflix, and be like, it's a Force Awakens kind of night.
It's a Disney property, Todd.
Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, excuse me. Disney Plus. I'm not gonna go on Disney Plus.
We're
and be
not
like,
going to
"Hey, it's
cancel
a
by
Force
Disney
Awakens."
today, Todd, all right? We've already done that enough.
And I guess I should leave it at that.
No. You can go to 10.
Go to
'cause
10?
Then Todd,
Okay.
Ricky will
I
go
was
to
at
10, I'll go to
18.
10.
Sorry, everybody.
Okay.
So up next is actually Rise of Skywalker. I actually really enjoyed certain portions of the movie. I thought that it was kind of disjointed in the sequencing. I
aspect,
thought it was
yeah.
fast. I thought it was too fast paced. I thought it was kind of it jumped from one thing to the next. I thought it was cool to see Lando. The redemption of Kylo Ren, who's arguably my second or third favorite character in all of Star Wars.
Such a...
I think that he is the cool. He has had the potential, because he's dead now apparently, to be one of the best characters ever.
Can they bring him back?
There's a theory about that. Basically, and it is
Shoot.
the theory is that, and there's no grounding in anything that it says, but there's there are blue butterflies in basically a lot of the art that depicts his thing. And they kind of are like, well, Ahsoka has the moray, or whatever.
Morai,
the
bird, the
thing.
owl bird thing.
Right,
The
and
tail.
then Kanan had the Loth Wolf, and they're like,
Yep.
basically every single one of these had, essentially a familiar, like the magicians and shit had. That could have been his, so maybe that's a hint that he will somehow make a comeback, which is why I think that you're going to see. I think that he will come back.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be through the world between the worlds.
And I think it doesn't help that they didn't show him as a Force ghost at the end of that movie. So now you can, not
That's
to
the
say
thing.
you're holding on to it more, but you can.
But you're like,
because
I don't have closure.
I mean,
don't have closure.
listen, I'm the same way with Game of Thrones. I tell this to Frank all the time. Frank's like, Luke, stop. Like, I need to be in a mental institution from what I say because I'm convinced that Daenerys is going to come back because she flew west where no one's been with the dragon. The dragon is known in the books to have healing powers with them. The dragon's going to bring her back. She's going to raise an army of dragons and people, and they're going to come back a couple years afterwards, and that's that. That's my theory with it. It's not going to stick. It would be sick. But, again, they leave it so open-ended that you can think that way. Like, you can... I mean, it's Game of Thrones. Jon came back. Like, we're not going to sit here and say they could... And
Resurrection
listen,
can't happen.
I mean...
I think about season 8 and I just get depressed.
So we're a season 8 supporting podcast, in my opinion. Like, we say... Listen... For what it wasn't what we wanted it to be, but it was not dog shit. It wasn't good, Ricky.
It really was.
No, it wasn't dog. Listen,
it was pretty fucking bad.
I'll be the first one to...
with both of you guys. What I more support is that people think that the show as a whole is terrible
shit
now
because
just
of
because
it.
of that last season.
Yep.
I won't support that. Because
Oh no, the seasons
journey
1
there
through
was
5 are immaculate.
Yeah.
Season 6 is where the downturn happens.
No. I'm not denying
Yeah.
that at all. My more thing with it is I kind of support it in the sense I'm like, number one, I mean, we're fans of it. Like, I remember Zach Allen, shout out Zach. Zach got me into the show by telling me to go on YouTube and watch The Red Wedding, and he tricked me into it. He's like, yo, this is the sickest thing you'll ever watch. It was this giant battle scene. I watched it. I literally didn't sleep for 4 days, and I was like, this is the best show ever.
He made you watch The Red Wedding before you even actually watched the
Yeah.
show?
He told me to go on YouTube and watch it. Yeah. I hadn't watched it to that point because I've never watched Frozen. I'm that guy.
Wow.
I knew it was going to get it.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna
Not
let it
look
go.
at me for the
I'm
rest
gonna let it go. That's what I'm gonna do.
Todd's just not gonna look at me. He's gonna be like, I loved having Ricky. You know, I loved talking to Ricky and Frank the entire
Honestly,
time.
it was a
Like,
pleasure,
he's just
gentlemen.
gonna,
Really, it
not
was.
gonna fucking talk to me at all.
Fuck's this guy?
No, but listen, I agree with you. I didn't like season 8. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I enjoyed it. No, but I did think the cinematography was good. I think it was shot amazingly. I think like the money they put into it definitely was like it was there. Was there a million plot holes? 100%. But listen, I'm the biggest D&D shit oner. I shit on them all the time.
D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons?
No, fucking
David
Debbie
Benioff
Allen
and TV
Weiss.
Weiss.
Sorry, yeah, whatever.
Thank God they don't have a Star Wars property.
Thank
to
God
their
they
name
pulled
anymore.
that plug.
God.
Oh my God, yeah. But no, my thing with it more is also I feel bad because unlike Zach, who's the biggest Game of Thrones fan in my opinion that I would probably know, he goes and like always puts up the argument like, well, like look at like I mean. George R.R. Martin might never put the book out. So, like, that's why he gets mad at it, like, because he knew what the potential could be, too. We all did.
He's also
but, like,
read all the books, like, several
and he
times.
knows the books. Like,
okay.
he's read all of them aggressively. So he gets pissed, too, because he's like, I knew everything that happened. And it's just a bummer to him because, like, yeah, they didn't get what they wanted. And then also, it didn't end up being what we all thought we were going to get. But, yeah. So, Todd, what are you? You have 12, 11, and 10, right?
Yep, 12 and 11. Or should I go to 10? Or should I
go
leave
12
10?
and 11. You're fine. Yeah,
right.
and you...
So, next up, I have, for number 12, I have Attack of the Clones. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It's got the nostalgic thing. Like, none of these movies, like, I don't like. It's just that some, I think, are better than others.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's cringy at times, but I can't, like, put this at the bottom of my list. I know some people really do think that it's the worst movie out of all of them. I enjoy it. Like, I liked, Obi-Wan, I think, is great. I think the introduction of Django is cool. I thought
100%.
his beheading by Mace Windu was badass.
Probably the most violent thing we've ever watched, besides the Mustafar scene, right? And then,
Mustafar.
Vader was afterwards. Mustafar was after that. But up to that point, what was the... I mean, we saw, like, the Force lightning.
You
the
saw...
Darth Vader Force... Oh, Luke's hand.
Luke's hand, but you
that
saw
wasn't-
Maul.
It was a cauterized wound. It didn't even really count as, like, blood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Maul get cut in half, but even you saw like the blood spurt of that, which doesn't really make too much sense because it's supposed to cauterize everything, like Ricky said. But I'm not nitpicking.
I mean, there's also supposed to not be explosions in space.
Or lasers.
I guess I really can't.
Yeah.
You know, fine.
No, I only... People say that to me, and I get so pissed, too, because I'm like... God, dude,
oh, no, dude.
Like, I don't come to Harry Potter and say wands don't fucking exist. Like, get off my dick, you fucking assholes. Like...
And then...
I'm
the
just a
reason
big
it's science
anti-Harry
fiction.
Potter fan. Like,
honestly, if we're going to go off that little tangent, I think Harry Potter's the worst wizard. out of
easily,
entire
yeah,
fucking
100%.
series.
He
He's
stinks.
incompetent.
PU.
Hermione's kick-ass.
Dope.
Ron is like
Ron is
decent, but whatever. But Harry gets by on the fact that
he's
lucky.
Voldemort
Yeah.
should have won and killed him.
We're a big Voldemort and Thanos podcast here, like that.
Voldemort was a good guy, just misunderstood.
Voldemort had the right idea.
Voldemort versus Thanos, who wins?
Thanos.
I think Thanos waxes his.
He just snaps the
you know what?
gauntlet.
I don't
and he's
know.
dead.
What about Darkseid?
Darkseid wins.
Well, Darkseid's got the
Darkseid Thanos?
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I don't know.
Listen, Thanos is cool because mind you, I'm no Marvel expert, but from what I understand, he's like super strong. He's super powerful.
I love how Todd's saying it.
What?
I don't know
Without the
Thanos,
stones,
but
Yeah, without the stones, he's
Just
nothing.
the mad
oh no, of course,
Exactly.
yeah, he's just.
strong.
But you have, and to I think we're gonna agree on this, but I think that Darkseid is everything that Thanos is, and then
Like amplified.
more.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because he literally shoots laser beams that he can control out of his
They go
This is
all
the
different
worst
directions.
decision.
freaking raised
Ricky,
laser beams.
why did I do
It's the
this?
sickest
Why did
thing
I
ever.
bring another why did I bring the probably second or first most diehard DC fan that I know?
I'll have to come back
to,
for
like,
the follow-up
like this
pod.
is terrible. This is terrible.
yes,
I hate
absolutely.
this.
I think in Atlantis or something.
So
he did it
bad.
with
Yep.
Omega Beam.
Dude,
Oh my God.
the fact that they include, and even just a little detail where he never
What do you wanna
fixed the
talk
armor,
about?
where the axe came down,
Or
that was sick.
swords.
That was sick.
How about those Yankees?
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
And
No. I said, what do you want to talk about to Ricky? Because you guys were just going off. And we're like, how about the Yankees? And Ricky's having a mental breakdown. They fucking suck.
They're so bad.
They're so bad. So bad.
all right, last one.
last one.
This one might be controversial, but I think Rogue One would rank as 11 in my book.
That's fine.
But
Okay.
Rogue One, the only thing that
I have
saved
a-
it for me is the Vader scene. The Vader scene was every single Vader scene, and then the one at the end. I was like, that's all I want.
My
from
list
Star
is
Wars.
going to
That's it.
piss off Star Wars fans all across the galaxy.
That
Get what I
Darth
did there?
Vader scene, I think I actually Snapchatted it when I was in the theater.
You did. You did.
I remember he was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
I had already seen it. Like, don't. I saw, like, I literally think I got, like, the first or second showing. Actually, I watched that with
Me.
you and Kevin.
We went.
When did we go? Like a Thursday at, like, 3? we went at some stupid time, maybe Thursday at, like, 5 or 6.
We went in the middle of the afternoon. I remember.
Yeah, and by the time we got out, it was, like, dark. But I remember I loved that movie.
Yeah. We'll.
Ricky, your turn.
Okay. So
That was it, Todd, right? For your
yes.
okay,
Todd, did you go from 15 to 11 or?
Well, I
You went from
I went
18 to
18 to 11.
Oh, okay. So, 15. I just put the sequels because they don't even deserve to be ranked, but I'm doing this out of formality, and they're just all going to be in
this
triple my list.
Out of formality, I'll just play to your games.
Fuck J.J. Abrams and his dumbass lens flare that he uses in every single shot. I cannot stand that shit. It's his only camera trick that he knows how to use is that lens flare. Wow! I mean,
Alright, JJ.
JJ did it right with the new Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
and Super 8. And Super 8 is really good, right? He did Super 8.
But when we're talking about like huge franchises that he's done, right? It's
like,
Star Wars.
tone
He
it
just
back a little,
dude,
man.
he just played it safe.
Yeah.
I think he just played it safe.
He
That's
played
all
it too
was.
safe. The Force Awakens was the
I can
most.
see Todd. No, you're good. You're
Oh,
good.
okay.
It's good. I just kicked it and I was like, shit.
The Force Awakens was just the
It's probably
most
for the best.
average. Bleh, like it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was a New Hope.
Yeah.
but
No, I
with
agree.
Brighter pixels than what they filmed in 1977. Fuck Rian Johnson more than fuck J.J. Abrams. Rian Johnson thinks he's just the smartest guy in the world with, doing all of the subversion techniques. So he's just going completely against all of the canon storylines that had happened prior. And
with
then calling fans out on Twitter and calling them stupid for not
Because
liking
you don't know
his
it.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like
He's
my
really-
movie.
Yeah,
Right.
Ryan Johnson, I'm not a...
He's a very smug piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And that was from like the beginning too. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was from like the beginning when he got like cast and like people were like on him about it. I think he was being like an asshole about it.
He's
too.
being very sarcastic.
It's like-
he wasn't revealing anything, but he was being sarcastic and
It's
just
like, bro, like what? This is our movie, not yours. Like,
Yeah.
like think about it. Like, yes, it's his movie, but like when you make a movie like
doing it
this,
for?
I mean, you're not doing it for yourself. Like, and
Yeah.
look back, like it's. I mean, if
What
you
did
did it for
he-
yourself, good for you. It's a shitty
directed-
pasta
what's it called,
movie.
right?
Knives Out.
Knives Out,
Knives
really
Out.
good. Yeah,
But
I
who
hate to
directed
say
the,
it too because I fucking loved Knives Out.
But who directed the new Planet of the Apes trilogy?
Oh,
that Ryan?
Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, he's Batman.
Keanu Reeves.
Yes,
We're
sir.
pumped for
Yes.
that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he was excited for it.
Huge.
You're
huge.
excited for the Batman.
Oh, I'm. Oh,
Batman.
listen! Don't even get me started. Frank was like surprised because I'm dick riding Pattinson like it's nobody's business.
Okay.
I love.
Fair. I
listen,
agree.
but I love that because number one, I love Tenet. Tenet, he hates it. I love it.
Never seen it. Never seen
Yeah.
it.
Fucking
haven't seen it
awesome. It just fucks with your head. And again,
It's Nolan.
but
I don't think it fucks with your head in a good way.
no. Okay, but the thing also is I saw it once, I was like, okay, this is cool, but it is confusing. After that, I watched like 6 hours, and I've told Frank this, I watched like 6 hours of people breaking it down and explaining how Nolan thinks, and I went back and watched it again, and I loved it because of how he made me think about it then. So it does take, it's a 2-watch movie in my opinion.
Okay, fair.
I will say though also, and I will agree with Frank though, we said it like in IMAX it was awesome, but it was too loud. Like, and that's cool, but it was like there were parts that me and Frank were like, oh. And I felt so bad too because Frank could say how hyped I was for the movie.
Yeah.
And Frank was like, yeah, bud.
Yeah,
It was good.
Right.
Like tapped me on the head, like let me out, and then like as soon as he drove away, he's like, fuck, I can't believe I did that. Like that
like
sucked.
the popcorn.
But no, yeah, I mean, I'm super hyped on Batman. We're a huge Planet of the Apes podcast.
Oh my God,
you have no idea. I think it ranked as my #1 trilogy, right? In like
think it
new,
did.
like modern trilogies,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I think it did.
I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the most underappreciated pieces of cinema that we will look back on. And like our parents watch Planet of the Apes as kids and love it now, or like your aunts, your uncles, whatever. I think it'll be the same way
good.
when we're
Very
kids and we
good.
can go shit. Like Woody Harrelson, yeah, it wasn't great when we watched it. It was fucking killer. James Franco, first movie. Oh, he's whatever. Boom.
Franco's good in
Awesome
whatever he
performance.
does, though.
Even
I
the
agree.
second movie, who was the shit? Who's that guy?
It was the guy who was in the latest Terminator movie.
Yep.
I forgot his name.
But regardless, again, we're gonna look back
he
and
played John Connor.
yes, yeah.
Genesis.
dude,
Not that I
Caesar
watched that
and
movie. I
in
just
my
knew he was in it. I didn't
and
follow
Caesar
it.
and Caesar was just such a dude. Andy Serkis is
Yeah, he's fantastic.
like
Aside from a certain character that he played in Star Wars, but I mean, I'm about
Oh
to get
my
into
God.
that.
I'm
about to get into this.
Okay, I'm curious because we might have a back and forth on this.
Rick,
one.
before you get into that, I just want to say about Rian Johnson, his Star Wars movie out of the new trilogy,
episode 8.
critically, is the best reviewed Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
one
100%.
out of those three.
Which is wild. It is because episode.
I know it is.
So
I hate
episode
that.
9, which
I'm gonna
I did
refrain.
not. Episode 9, which I did not
Just
think
for
was
now.
that bad. Was remember when episode 9 came out? It was getting shit on, and I
Yeah,
didn't think
yeah.
it was
Agreed.
that
I
bad
agreed.
compared to 8.
Yes.
But I was like, but again. That's where I got into this whole thing of like, I don't know where Disney's pumping the numbers because Disney for some reason is supporting Rian Johnson, and it was because he was getting originally the trilogy property.
Yes.
Remember, he's getting the
Yeah.
like the spin-off trilogy, and that's why I'm convinced when 9 came out, because JJ could kind of be like, listen, we did our thing, it didn't work out how we wanted to. Let the critics say what they want. Where Johnson, they had to back him because now, like, if they were like, oh,
He's
he
their
did a
guy.
good job, he can really turn around the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
Then when he makes a trilogy, people aren't going to be as critical about it. Where
Yeah.
JJ's already, I mean, JJ could retire now, and he literally, for some reason, they'd still think those movies were great. But
Sorry. Just to piggyback off what Luke is saying really quick. I think that they would have, if they had given either J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson
the whole thing.
the helm, it would have been awesome.
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed.
There was too much. Again, there was, like we
They
said,
didn't know
in
what
the-
they were doing.
Like we
They
said in the
had no
beginning of this
consistent
2
plan.
hours
Agreed.
of this,
Yep.
from when we started at 7 o'clock. No,
And, but that goes back to Kathleen Kennedy because you
Stop.
It wasn't.
Stop. You
No.
can't say her name on this
Oh,
podcast.
sorry.
Todd already said it once.
Sorry.
You say it 3
Taboo.
times, she's gonna pop up.
I'm just saying she
I
didn't.
hope she
She
does.
didn't take the reign as far as what
take that.
plot points should have carried over. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
just
Agreed.
look at it and it just pisses me off so much because you have Feige, who like you could have talked to Feige when this happened, when the acquisition happened.
like,
you could have
oh,
went
now
to the,
we'll give you
like,
your own
You
Star
could have
Wars
literally
movie.
went to the
Like-
one guy that was doing so good
Doing it
with
right.
an entire property and said, "Hey, bud." how do I do this right? Instead, you said, I got this.
I get that he's a fan of Star Wars, but I mean...
No, Kathleen Kennedy.
No, but we're talking about Feige.
I'm saying what Feige did with Marvel. I'm saying Kathleen Kennedy should have said, "Hey, what do I do? How?" Because look at what Feige's done. I know you're not a Marvel guy, but Feige's built this masterpiece
He's producing a Star Wars film. You know that?
I know,
Yes.
but I'm not. I'm just not sold on him. Like I think that no. I mean, I don't.
I think anything he
For
touches
Star Wars.
is gold.
Star Wars.
No. I'm fine with that.
Like what he's done with Marvel, there's no debate. Like it is arguably.
It hurts you to say this.
It does. It pains me, but it is arguably the greatest series of films.
Yeah.
Not like critically, but probably for what they've done.
For what they've done,
from a cohesive standpoint,
100%.
like in the way they've tied everything. in.
But that's why I'm saying it pisses me off with Kathleen Kennedy because it's not. It's like you work in the same office with the guy. Not
You literally could have went
figuratively,
down the hall
but that's
and
the
asked,
thing.
like, hey.
You could have.
But I think that what they, I mean, it's easy to look back and be like, hey, this is what they should have done, and it's easy to say,
It's everything
now,
we're talking about here.
Filoni is like the guy.
Oh, of course.
But Filoni is the guy. Filoni
Yes.
is the guy who knows, what is it, Lucas's his vision, what he wanted.
Yeah.
He tries to adhere to it as best as he can while telling a new story.
Yeah, I think I've said that I'm a little bit worried about Filoni and Feige Filoni and Favreau, and I really only say that because Filoni I think is in for the whole ride. I think he'll die with the Star Wars properties personally. Knock on wood, I hope so. Like I really do hope he gets like that.
Yeah.
Favreau, I love Favreau. I think Favreau's done amazing things, and my thing with Favreau is I would have put him in the point of Kathleen Kennedy when they were originally talking about what was going on and Kennedy might be in, might be out, and like Disney was having that. My opinion, I would have put him right in and said because now you lock him into that big time contract. Pat Mahomes is as a chief forever. In sports terms.
Right.
He's there for literally the next, 10 to 12 years, 15 years, whatever. He's locked in. So that's what I would have done with him because the longer you wait for him to not get the promotion, the longer the person's going to be like, do they really want me? And yes, you're giving them the movies, you're giving them the shows, but look at him. He did Jungle Book. He directed, what was his first movie with Vince Vaughn? Didn't he direct that? I don't know what it is.
Not Couples Retreat, right?
Yeah.
Is that what Vince Vaughn?
Couples Retreat, which is canon in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, you're talking about Vince
No.
Vaughn was in
Not Vince Vaughn was in a movie with Favreau.
No, it's not Swingers.
I don't know what it is. Regardless,
he did direct Swingers.
He did direct Swingers, I think. And I hope to God he didn't direct Couples Retreat, did he?
I don't know.
It's
He was in it.
enjoyable.
Oh, he was in it, but
Yeah.
Well, no. But what I'm saying with it is that's the thing that scares me. That again, if you lose him and Kathleen Kennedy stays, and unless she replaces him with with Filoni, that's where I get into that beep, warning. I'm concerned because then you go and you get a Rian Johnson, you get a J.J. Abrams, you get someone. You're like, you've got the vision again. It's like.
I just don't think that. Like, I think Favreau represents the practical side. I think he has a real appreciation for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I think
as the art.
Yes, but I think him and Filoni are a tandem. Like, I think they will eventually be the guys. And
I just want them locked in. That's my thing.
Disney's going to recognize that.
Of course, but that's my thing.
Kathleen Kennedy's kind of taken a back.
Yes, and that's my only thing with it. Again, I just want them to lock them in so they don't get poached somewhere else or someone else doesn't say like, hey, let's come do some movies with us and then because again, look at what it's done with. I mean, the reason that season 3 of Mando is delayed is because Pablo Pascal is doing the Last of Us show. Yeah. So it's things like that then get muddied, and then the shows get drawn out, and then the actors start revolting because they don't like the direction. Then it becomes that tumbleweed of where Marvel, I don't think, has ever had that issue. I mean, the first couple Iron Man movies, people were like...
Aside from Don Cheadle being recasted as War Machine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they were but
Ricky, go, because exactly.
Norton, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Admiral Holdo sucked. I was really happy.
We're a Holdo podcast.
Instead of telling Poe her plan to escape, she just caused a mutiny that got hundreds of more people killed that didn't need to be killed in order to...
A genocide, some would say.
In order to have this overt message of toxic masculinity plaguing the world. Snoke is the most underwhelming villain in Star Wars.
Oh my God, why? This podcast was going so well.
We don't know anything about his origins. His death was not earned.
Oh my God.
somehow Palpatine came back. Rey's typical Mary Sue strong woman protagonist, apparently the most powerful Force user in history, barely any trading behind it, and do it that
Which
way.
I agree with
she's
and
the
disagree
opposite
with.
of Ahsoka, where they made Ahsoka fail over and over and
to
over
get to
again
that point,
to build her up
correct.
to be a great Jedi, which is what they should have done with Rey.
100%.
And they didn't because they had to go with the mainstream political making a statement route.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll say really quickly with that is I agree with you, but the thing that I kind of like turn off my brain and say, I'm like, you know what, since she's a Palpatine and Palpatine was clearly this whatever. I agree with you with the messaging and what they did and how Disney played it, but like I kind of just said like screw it, turn my brain off. It's because she's a Palpatine. It's because she's the granddaughter of probably the most sensitive person,
At least human.
force sensitive human being. Whatever. Continue. Sorry.
My last point on this is I feel very badly for the actors and actresses of these movies because they were screwed out of probably the most hyped up and biggest potential film
100%.
trilogy in the last, 10 years from the last Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
But
easily, literally, it's the last one everyone's hyped up.
the things they did, like doing John Boyega dirty, especially in the Chinese
God.
posters, where it was like overtly racist what they were
Yeah.
doing, and they just made him this small little tiny character
Exactly.
instead of the
You're
big
there,
guy in the American
and he's-
thing because Chinese culture just apparently hates black people for some reason, so they made him the tiniest person on the poster.
China's literally gonna come and find Ricky.
I
Just drop a bomb on fucking freeway.
stop Asian hate. I know. Stop Asian hate.
Oh
Fuck
my
the
God.
CCP.
Yep, agreed.
Fuck the CCP.
Nah, you don't gotta tell me twice, guys. We don't gotta.
If Mark Hamill openly hates the product that was put out,
That's when you know it's an
you
issue.
know you
Yep.
did something wrong.
Yep, I'll agree with that 100%.
Like, it was really not that hard for them to mess this up. And it seemed like they just kept shooting themselves in the foot every single step of the way that they got the chance
No,
to.
you're. Fuck, you're
And-
so right. I hate this.
And it's because they did not have a cohesive storyline between each film. It was, okay, Rey is no one. Okay, no, Rey is maybe someone, but we're going to say she's no one. To she's a Palpatine.
Right, she's a Palpatine.
To
She's a
Snoke is going to
Skywalker.
die in this movie because, oh wait, he was supposed to die in the third movie, but we're going to subvert the audience expectations and he's going to die now.
Yeah.
They
And
shocked
then,
everybody.
wait a minute, Palpatine had clones and he's coming back and he has this army on a
Dark
planet
magic.
that
Wait,
you
what did
can't
they say?
even get
Dark
to?
magic. What
Dark
does he say?
magic that only the Sith knew.
Yes. And how did you know? How did you know? Yeah, but how did they get that
Which is-
information?
Agreed. How did they
He
get
just-
that?
How do you know that only the Sith know dark magic and you're not supposed to know?
Read all about it. The Sith knew dark magic on 9 o'clock.
Sith alchemy was a thing. I'll give them that.
100%.
Like, that's a plug
Yeah.
for sure.
But how did this guy just like he went on Twitter? He's like, "Shit, you guys see this about Sith alchemy, bro? This is wild." Like you know,
just found a
like,
holocron.
yeah, dude, this is wild. Like, you guys trying to hit it later? Like, what's good?
So, getting back on track. Number 14, the Ewok Adventures movie.
Oh, I didn't even put that on here. God,
I never.
That was awesome
never
as a
seen
kid. It was better than the sequels, that's for sure. The Clone Wars, the movie.
Yeah.
We can all agree that was bad. Number 12, Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh my God, Ricky, what am I missing on my list?
Life Day is canon.
No, I am because of Mandalorian.
Yeah. And Rebels, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they talked about it in Rebels also. Maybe they did.
I thought it was only in Mando
Yeah.
because the big thing with it was when he said it, everyone's like, "Oh my God, he said Life Day," and
Yeah.
like George Lucas like wouldn't acknowledge Life Day for the longest time. And Favreau was like, "Life Day."
And 11, Solo. This movie gets so unnecessarily hated on. I feel
agree,
bad for
100%
Alden
agree.
Ehrenreich here. He was a very good Han Solo.
And I was the
He's just
biggest-
not Harrison Ford.
Oh, of course not. I mean,
Donald Glover as Lando, I think, is the most brilliant casting that they've
so
done in Star
good,
Wars.
so good.
He is awesome as Lando. He was great.
I thought that story was really good. Yeah,
I do hope we get a sequel expanding into Crimson Dawn. I need to see more live action Ray Park.
I don't think.
Yep.
I want
it's happening, but
I don't think it's happening. Maybe not Solo 2.
No. I agree. Don't give us Solo 2.
Go
cool Solo 2.
Go into Crimson Dawn.
I think
go into Crimson Dawn and Maul's criminal underworld and how he ran that. We need to get an expansion on that.
I think it would be better if you don't do Solo 2, but you do a Lando movie, like, or a Lando show, like where you do that, like that.
There is a Lando show coming out.
No, that's confirmed. But I'm saying that would be a great. Oh God,
look into it.
That would be a great way to pivot into, like you said, Crimson Dawn, because then Lando's running away from Crimson Dawn, running away, and you can still tie in. Solo can come in because Alden Ehrenreich.
You're close. You're very close.
I just mixed up, my dyslexia.
Final point for Solo, Emilia Clarke.
Awesome.
She's great.
And Vision.
Yeah, Paul Bettany was in it.
Paul Bettany was in it. People forget Daenerys and Vision were both in that movie.
What was his name?
Dryden Voss.
Yes.
Good, Ricky. Good,
Emilia Clarke.
She killed that role too.
I don't know.
She was great.
I thought she was okay in that movie.
She's okay, but it's Emilia Clarke.
Yeah. I thought she killed the role because of what it was like to watch them start at the beginning, like the low, and then at the end of it. I mean, that's like the biggest, in my opinion, reveal of like someone that you're like, oh, like I'm kind of rooting for her. She's clearly not a good guy, but she's not a bad guy. And then at the end, you're like, oh shit, she's low key boys with Darth Maul. That's
but more of like a pawn for her.
But just in general, like
pawn for him.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, okay,
This
didn't
makes
see.
sense.
Dude,
yeah,
she's trying to make a life for herself. She moved from basic. It's like a.
She's
fucked up version
surviving.
of
She's
Slumdog
surviving.
Millionaire.
She's doing the same thing that a lot of people are saying that your buddy, the power broker's doing. Your friend Sharon Carter. She's doing the same thing.
Do we think she's a power broker?
No.
I
think she's working for the power broker.
I think she works for him.
Working for the power broker. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. For the record, Todd, I've been telling a lot of my friends. I think you would enjoy it, not as a Marvel fan,
I'm pulling
because
for John Walker.
Oh.
Yep. Pulling for it. I'm basically, this is going on.
Because we're going to go on another 30
I don't care. Listen, Frank, you got a time on this? Listen, you're driving up north tonight?
Yes.
Me too. I'll tell you on
I'll
the
reach you
parkway.
there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I will really quickly just say I think he's also getting a lot of hate, though. He's been getting a lot of hate. Wyatt Russell has been getting a lot of hate. But it's because he's, in my opinion, doing such a good job.
Yeah.
He's doing such a good sociopath job. It is amazing. Like, his handshaking at the end of that episode.
Oh, yeah, because he's like twitching from
like right after he murked the guy and comes up and he's like, oh, what's everyone looking at? Like, he literally just murdered someone on the street.
Oh, the guy that like supposedly looked up to.
Yes, yeah. Look at you.
I mean, I've read the memes. I've read the memes.
Just
look at us. Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
All right, Ricky, go.
No, that was my 11. So
that was your 11. All right, perfect. All right,
I just say one thing about Solo though. Like at the end of it, Darth Maul appears.
Correct. Yeah, which was Ray Park, right? It was Ray Park.
Yes, it was Ray Park, but they used Sam Witwer's voice.
Yes, it didn't look great.
He looked like he's aged. He looked like he aged,
which is fine
because he did age.
But I was. I think we were thinking of it on like the timeline of Rebels, and people were like, "Oh, he's a little bigger there," and then he was pretty chubby. It's like he went on Weight Watchers.
Put on some weight.
Yeah, listen, I'm a huge.
But then again, they also
fan.
make everyone like super tiny in Rebels. They make everyone super thin.
Look at Vader's lightsaber. It's like a little
head of the syndicate right there. So he's eating well.
All right, 15.
Fish or whatever.
He gained back all that weight that he lost from the waist down.
from getting murked with the skeleton legs, spider legs. Maul was an underrated Maul. Psychopath Maul, really cool. 15, Last Jedi. I think everything.
Bold move.
Yeah, I listen. I think it pissed me off the most because, in my opinion, I will compare it to Daniel Jones in his second year of the NFL, where instead of giving us a next step, either you're bad or you're good, you kept very like, oh, this completely went in like in my opinion, Daniel Jones, he didn't do anything. His second year, it was like, oh wow, you look the exact same. 8 wasn't the same, but I was like, okay, everything you gave me in 7 is different here and I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I dislike it. So I was in that point of I was
different,
like,
but it's still the same.
yeah, I was like, fuck, man, like this
But it
is
should have
literally
taken a step
like it was
forward.
like you tried to make episode 5 and then you didn't, but then you tried to make new twists and dragged it out way too long, and I was like, you literally brought in Benicio del Toro for him to be a what?
A code breaker.
Great, sick.
That was just a scumbag thief.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh shit, like you know,
double crossing them to.
and I'll say the thing that pisses me off the most about Snoke, and I know you're pretty like a big Snoke guy, and we've had these conversations though. I really a part of me as the fanboy would have really liked Snoke as Chancellor Valorum, and Chancellor Valorum was low key playing a game on Palpatine, and then came back. That was the original rumor when when Snoke pictures got like put up online. People were like, oh shit, what is he? He's definitely not Palpatine. That's when I kind of pivoted to that, and I saw that, and I was like, I like that a lot, because you saw him in one movie.
Yep.
We don't know why he left. We don't know how he got out of power, to a sense, whatever. Where'd he go, this, that. Because didn't he get an assassination attempt? Did he die in that? Remember in episode 2 in the beginning?
He didn't die.
He left power.
He lost the election to
Yeah.
Palpatine.
So, but what I'm saying is after
Yeah,
that,
he
you
did.
don't see him.
Yeah.
Did we see him in episode 2?
Nope.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
He retired.
So that would have been great, in my opinion, if that like big reveal was like your master that you're looking for, this Palpatine guy. I was able to best him, whatever.
Right. Agreed. Fair.
You guys
All right,
want
more
waters, or if you get more waters?
Yeah, if you want to grab,
grab one.
I'm okay for now.
I'm
Thank
okay.
you, though.
Yeah, cool.
I'll go into 14 really quickly. So 14 is Rise of Skywalker, and the reason that I put it there is because of the Trevorrow cut. And the thing that pisses me off the most about it, have you guys watched any of that? Like, do you know what that is?
I've never watched it. I read the script.
Okay.
Parts
I didn't
of it.
So,
read the script.
so
Sounded
there's,
good.
I'll find a YouTube video and send it to you. This guy broke down everything he got from the Trevorrow cut and what the concept was. And like, the thing that pisses me off about it is it picture perfect? No. Would it have really, in my opinion, put everything back together and given us that ending? 100%. Like, there's the First Order takes over Coruscant. There's an uprising on Coruscant. Finn takes over that and goes and fights with the
cool to
people
have
on
him
the
in that
thing.
role.
They fight back against the First Order because, like, that's a better fight, in my opinion. Go back to Coruscant where it is. The First Order raided the Jedi Temple and completely have taken all these things. Hux is, like, now operating with, I think the concept was, like, Mace Windu's lightsaber. Like,
Yeah.
they found it. And then when Coruscant falls from it, he like murders himself with it. He like
Samurai,
kills himself samurai style. Like
Seppuku.
that was there, yeah. I mean, you had these concepts that were just like so much more thought out, and it was like from this Trevorrow only has done.
Jurassic
He did the Jurassic Worlds, and like
fan.
I wasn't huge on them, but from the concepts that they were, I was like, fuck, man, like this was really good just from like what it was. And I just think we got shafted with it, and I think they were just like, we gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
Like Walking Dead, you get bit. Let's just chop the arm off. You know,
Yeah.
that was what they were kind of doing. They're like, oh shit, you know, you're already bit. We're already kind of lost. We lost our money. We lost our this. We can't do much to fix it.
Right.
And you guys
Fair.
said a little bit about it. I only said this as a joke. Really, Resistance and all those other Resistance, the Clone Wars movie, the Clone Wars 2002 animated, all that shit's below these movies because I didn't hate them that much. But I put Resistance as 13 as a joke. I put it above those two movies to show how much I really just was like, oh man, this stinks.
Resistance was terrible. 100%.
12. Force Awakens, I put it at 12 because I think the nostalgia helped, but the more I watch it, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, it wasn't as good as people like to kind of like emphasize it as, and I know it's a wild opinion that I think the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace and shit are above it, but at the end of the day, look, I can at least have the opinion where, like, when I was younger, I could turn my brain off when 1 and 2 were on, and I now I'm older, I'm like, okay, I can see some of these things, and I can understand why this was there, and why they did this with Jar Jar, and I mean, it was made to be funny, and I mean, I feel bad for him just like Rose.
Oh,
like, I mean,
Best,
dude,
yeah.
he got
death threats.
death threats. Like, bro, and the worst thing about that, Rose was playing a character. He has, like, went out on record and said that he was playing, like, the younger version of him. He was trying to play, like, the kid version of
was he?
who he was. Like, the fun.
Who is
And,
this?
The actor Ahmad Best.
who Jar Jar was. He depicted the role after like what he thought he was, like a funny jokester, this guy, and people like shit on
they
it.
hated him.
So they hated him internally, and I mean, think about what that does to you mentally. Like, imagine like you making a character and creating it and making it your own. And thinking it's you probably didn't think it was a masterpiece, but he's like, this is good, this is funny, and people got it and they were like, this is the worst character we've ever seen. So I just show more sympathy now because I'm like, dude, I'm too old to be putting negative energy out there like that. Like, it's unfortunate it happened like that, but it is what it is. What I say, Force Awakens at 12. 11 is Solo. You guys said most of it. I think Solo was actually pretty good. I talked a lot of shit on Aiden Aldenreich. Whatever.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Fuck, whatever.
It's a confusing name. His parents really screwed him for life with that.
I don't care. Yeah, I talked a lot of shit about him and said, like, he'll never do it, whatever, blah, blah. And he really did do a good job, in my opinion. He really killed it. He brought his own flair to it. And, I mean, look, we can't go back and get Harrison Ford when he was 25 years old. So it is what it is. Yeah, a lot of people, like, I've been on record saying that I get mad at it because at the end of the day, I feel bad because, I mean, like, look, you took that character. Like, you could have done Lando. You could have done all these other people that we like that are sub-characters. You took Han Solo. It's kind of similar to your Obi-Wan case. Like, come on. You can't do that, you know? It's like these characters, there's a couple characters you don't touch. You're not supposed to touch Vader. After the new series, 1, 2, and 3, you weren't supposed to touch Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan.
Yep.
People didn't want to touch Qui-Gon, Yoda. Like, people didn't want those specific things, those specific movies. And then you, not even recasted, just in general, touched. Because they were perfect in how they were. And then you were like, surprise, we're making this. And it was, again, this was in between 8 and 9. Right, because it was 7.
It was
Rogue One.
It was Memorial Day when it came out. I remember
So it was 7, Rogue One, 8, Solo, 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that I think originally turned me off to it. I was like, what? I don't want this. Like, I've already gotten 8 and 7, and
we had literally seen 8 like 3 months prior to 5 months prior to it.
I think they tried to do like what Marvel did, where they were like backtracking.
Oh, of course, no, and I liked the concept.
Everyone got Star Wars fatigue. It was like, wait, we can't keep doing a movie every 6 months.
I liked the concept personally, but I just didn't like the direction because like you could have again, and now they've picked up the pieces with Boba, but like you could have done a Boba movie. You could have done if you really wanted. For all I would have cared, a Kanan Jarrus movie. Like, give that. I've pushed. I've said it a million times. Put the energy out in the world that a Order 66 movie or show would come out where it's not maybe Vader until the very end and it's the people coming after him, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. That is what it is. Solo's my 11. All right, so 10 through 6, Todd, because... Boy, we're steaming along.
All right, so number 10 for me was Last Jedi. Basically, I thought it was a great film. Like cinematically, I thought like a lot of the cuts. Visually, I thought it was excellent.
Yes,
by far, probably the best Star Wars film visually and aesthetically. I don't think it was a good Star Wars film though. I think that we've already touched on it. I think Rian Johnson.
Not really a big Rian Johnson podcast.
The source material, like he just said, "Fuck it, throw it out the window."
I got
this. Why is it that? And this is actually a point that my dad brought up. Why is it that Kylo Ren can stop a blaster bolt from
midair
and then freeze it in midair, but he can't fuck up the Praetorian Guard? That is not Force sensitive, and to my knowledge,
it was a great fight. Apparently, yeah.
And it was like you have these Force powers. You were trained by Luke fucking Skywalker at his academy, and there's a whole comic about that and everything. You should be able to wipe the floor with these guys.
Just throw your saber and it should just go around the entire room and decapitate every single person.
And that's not even to take into account the bloodline that he has. I mean, the bloodline that he has, it's one of the most powerful, second maybe to the Palpatines, maybe stronger than the Palpatines.
Well, and like you've said also, what he learned from the Knights of Ren. What Ren? I'm a novice at the comics of that series, but...
Spoiler. But basically what happens is that he... Right after Luke tries to kill him, tries to kill him. He opens his lightsaber and is like, "Oh shit, what am I doing?"
I'm not going to kill him. Yeah, exactly.
He pulls down the academy. He accidentally releases basically this Force lightning storm that burns down Luke's new academy, kills a bunch of the Jedi, but a bunch of those Jedi Padawans were off-world. He had like 3 friends that he was like close with. One that was jealous of him, a flawed Jedi, one that wasn't a good fighter, and then one that was like the embodiment of like the pacifist. He leaves, doesn't want to fight them. They track him down because they think that he killed Luke.
Because Luke disappeared, yeah.
Luke disappeared. Basically what happens is he tries to save one of them from falling off a cliff to their death. The other one throws their lightsaber at him. He says, I gotta drop one to save myself. Drops one, stops the lightsaber, kills the person that threw the lightsaber at him, tries to catch the other one, but by that time they're already dead.
Yep.
And then it basically...
That's when he fully turns.
That's when he fully turns.
Yep.
And then he seeks out Snoke, and Snoke is living on this like garden world, which I think is actually a tie-in to the new High Republic, which neither here nor there. But they bring in the High Republic, and I like the High Republic.
You like High Republic? Not excited?
Dude, I'm pumped for it. I read the book, Light of the Jedi. Awesome.
I thought you liked it. Yeah, that's
so they brought it in, and they were basically like, that's where Snoke is. Snoke is like, go sneak out the Knights of Ren. He proves himself by killing the leader of the Knights of Ren.
Ren, right? That's his name?
Yep. And then he... Basically, that's how he takes it over.
Yeah, exactly.
Then number 9, I have Rebels. I really like Rebels. I think the dynamic that you saw between all the people, like the cast and characters, Hera, Kanan, Ezra, Zeb.
It was such a good crew.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I liked it more than the Clone Wars as a whole, as a series, just because of that. And the Vader scenes,
I agree with you.
Maul throw-ins were awesome. Next, I actually have New Hope. I like New Hope. Really enjoyed it. I think that New Hope is excellent as the primer for all of the movies.
Yeah.
I think it's aged very well. I just think that compared to the other movies, I personally enjoy
them more. Yeah.
And I
my list would be completely different if I was doing it off like how I actually think the movies are. This is just for me. I know personally, this is just like how I like the movies, the nostalgia for me. But if I was ranking them on like what's actually good and what's not, my list would be a little bit like different.
I agree 100%. 7, Solo. I talked to you guys. I was also one of those people who was so anti Alden Ehrenreich, where I was like, he's Aiden Ehrenreich. He's 30 years old. He's playing a 20-year-old Han Solo. Harrison Ford was 30 years old when he was cast. I was like, and for mine, it just boggled my mind. It didn't work. It was a disconnect. I'm like, I hate this. I thought he killed it. I like Tobias Beckett's character. Mm-hmm. I love the way that he met Chewbacca. Yeah. I thought that was cool. The fact that he spoke Shuriwook, I was like,
that was a little.
I'm like, okay. I'm like a little cringy, but you know what? How else is a fucking human supposed to be able to?
Yeah, exactly.
I speak a little. Like I thought that was great. Number 6 for me is Phantom Menace. I love the movie. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
That's a hill he'll die on. I know that. I've known you forever. I've known that.
I like Jar Jar. I take it for what it is. He's funny. I thought he was funny when I was. How it came out? What 99?
99, 8.
So yeah, 90 somewhere in there.
No, I was saying you were 8 because you're an old man.
But I thought it was good. Qui-Gon. You can't beat Qui-Gon. I thought the fight scene at the end was cool. Even Padme, as a 14-year-old little, she literally took back her palace. Which
she killed it.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty badass. I had that blaster. I had Captain Monaka's blaster. I loved that thing.
There was a video game that was on the computer for like 19.
Episode 1.
Yes,
dude, such a good game.
Such a good game. And you're like playing as like Obi-Wan.
Do you remember when you were in the maze? Do you remember in the maze?
I remember in the maze,
dude. Oh, that.
Remember there were certain parts you couldn't jump in the water because you get eaten.
You get eaten, fish. Dude. Don't even get me started. That's one of my favorite Star Wars games, just from nostalgia. It was so bad, so like blocky, you didn't know how to strike, but it was so good, dude. I spent so many hours on my IBM computer up in my parents' office space. Oh, it was so funny. So that was your 6.
Yep, that was my 6.
Ricky,
Star Wars Rebels is 10 for me. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I like Clone Wars much better personally. I didn't really get attachment to any of the characters. I think that's just my reasoning. I thought they were all good as a unit, but you
didn't love
individually.
Fair.
It was good. Thrawn is probably the best villain that we're going to get in the next couple
for whatever
movies or TV shows, whatever come out. I cannot wait to see him.
Depending on who they cast. I think they're
going to bring back Mads Mikkelsen.
I've heard that as well.
I am all for it. Not to go on a tangent really quick, but I watched Sherlock. If any of you guys have ever seen that, he plays an excellent like villain in Sherlock, and he's exactly like Thrawn in like live action. It's
Well,
awesome.
As good as
We'll see.
Putin in House of Cards too, or whoever the Russian oligarch.
Like
is.
analog
Or-
is.
I
or-
hope I
political
hope
figure
they
that he's-
get rid of it so
Sick.
I don't see him as him.
Oh, they'll turn him blue.
No. But I'm just saying, like, since he's been in Star Wars, like, I just I hope.
No,
we
that's
can,
his brother.
No, Mads was in.
Oh wait, no,
Rogue
it's
One.
not Mads. It is his
It's
brother.
Mickelson.
Yes, but
I
it
can't
may
think
not
of
be
his-
Mads.
It's not Mads. It's
Oh, okay, because
What the
Mads
fuck is
is
it?
Rogue
Yes.
One, right?
Yes, she's-
Okay. All right.
Stardust.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Stardust. All right.
Jyn Erso.
yeah.
Urso.
Yep.
Galen Urso. That's it.
There you go.
Number
Perfect.
9.
Got it.
I have is Attack of the Clones.
Same here.
I don't like sand. It's
Of
rough.
course. It's
Of
course.
course.
Of course.
Gets everywhere.
It's everywhere.
That's all I have to say about that. Phantom Menace is number 8. Ray Park is criminally underused in the
100%.
movie. But the final duel is what makes up for the rest of the movie that people say is so bad. I really think it's probably the best one in the series, aside from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the movie did age like a semi-fine wine, not a fine wine, semi-fine wine.
The
like the
$25 wine.
$25
Yeah,
bottle that
you just put back
Yeah.
there. Like, we'll hold
Yeah.
you for a couple years.
Yeah.
We don't need to drink you right now.
I definitely think it's more appreciated now than what it used to be, especially because of the ancillary products that came about it with Clone Wars and everything that tied
Yeah,
back into
100%.
it. Number 7, Return of the Jedi. They close the story the best way they can. For me, it is the canon ending because the sequels didn't happen.
Yep. I'm like pissed because I'm looking at my list and now Ricky's
Just a little,
just like the
just a
same
little nitpicky. I did think it was a little silly that the Empire was able to turn around and construct a new Death Star in like 5 years when the prior one took 3 decades to build.
Yeah,
but
that's
was-
they already but they already
was-
had the plans. They knew how to
Yes.
do it.
And
So
it was considerably smaller.
really, I didn't.
It
I
was,
never knew that. Okay, so
and it was not fully operational.
Yes.
Well,
Obviously, it wasn't fully built yet, but it was
It was almost there.
65% of the way there with a working cannon.
it
was
was
good.
fully operational.
It was a fully operational
Fully
battle
operational.
station. And then 6 for me was New Hope. It was the one that started it all. I can go back to it, watch it at any point, just be happy. Yeah.
All right.
So that's
My turn.
10
Well,
for 6.
10. Phantom Menace. I would love to put it higher on my list, but it just like for me, it does have its flaws, and there are parts of it that I love, and the music, choreography in it, and the for what it is, it sucks at certain parts, but it's not that bad.
Agreed.
9, Attack of the Clones. I also think that's it's not that bad of a movie. It really do only start at a certain part though. I only watch it from the Geonosis battle on. I'm not even kidding. I'll occasionally catch other parts of it. Number 8 is Rebels. I was an original Rebels person. I watched it for a lot. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. I do agree with you a little bit, Ricky, though. Like some of the characters, like I did like Hera, I did like Kanan, I did like them, but I couldn't specifically be like, oh, I loved them as a group. I didn't love them as necessarily individuals. I loved their character arcs, but I wasn't fully invested. Like I'm a team Ezra. I was a team Kanan, but that's because Kanan's a badass, and I think he was such a cool. That was such a cool growth period from when he was I was like, yo, this guy's kind of a douchebag. To all right, man, he's cool. He's just trying to teach Ezra, what to do and really be a good Jedi. 7, Return of the Jedi. I really loved Return of the Jedi, but when you look at it, it does have its flaws too. I would love to put it higher than A New Hope, but A New Hope is higher for me, and it's really just because A New Hope is A New Hope, and I do it's the first Star Wars movie, so the nostalgic factor for me is when you see them all first come together, it's man, this is so cool. Everybody's together, and I love it. 6, Mando. I loved Mando. I thought Mando was awesome. I think it's great, and I think it does have a lot of really good potential. It's just when I take everything else for the nostalgic factors and for the time that I've invested in certain things like that, Mando still has room to grow, and by the time that Mando's done, I guarantee, for the most part, it probably will be higher on my list. But again, it it's going to take some time to see where it goes to and what it can evolve into. But for what I've seen already, to put it as high as it is, like, I think that's self-explanatory to, most of our points probably with it. So, that's my through 6. So now it's 5-1. Ready, Todd? Final stretch.
So number 5, remember how I broke down Clone Wars. Clone Wars, I broke down number 5 is season 7 standalone, but specifically the last 4 episodes arc.
Yep.
I thought that was basically its own movie, and I mean, you literally, it's to see just the betrayal of the clones, and just the betrayal of Palpatine in general, and the way that they had been so close. I mean, you saw Ahsoka's own Legion, who had just painted their own helmets
for her,
with the Fulcrum logo, whatever, like that. To see them all turn on her was insane.
Yeah.
Maul, as like basically seeing the threads, the underlying threads of the deceit and everything like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Maul
to show,
being
like,
there,
and,
exactly.
like, to show how wise he was to like the plans. He may not be the most powerful Sith, but he was always in the know. He kind of knew what was going on. Number 4, Mandalorian. I just think that Mandalorian is just so fucking good. Like, it is so superbly well done. Sure, there's some filler episodes here and there. Every show has that.
Movie, even movies have times of it.
Well, sequels. But I think that basically Mandalorian is and everything I could have hoped for in a Star Wars show and more.
Yep.
Number 3, Empire. I love Empire. Yep. I thought it was good.
I thought it was good.
Understatement of the year. But I think that basically like just the Vader reveal, seeing the whole fight on Bespin, I thought that was that was the best. I mean, I couldn't even imagine being in like the movies when that was revealed.
Yeah.
Like, I asked my dad and all that type of shit. He's like, because we had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Nobody did.
Nobody. I loved it.
Every episode.
Every episode. Last time I was here.
Yeah.
The baseball episode. I break it every time. Todd, just ignore it. It's a tradition now.
Yeah.
Well, gotta keep it up. Tradition.
Bang.
Number 2 is Revenge of the Sith for me. I don't think it really gets much more emotional except for one moment in all of Star Wars where to see Obi-Wan just have to kill his best friend.
You're my brother, Anakin.
But I also think that highlights how dogmatic and how even flawed Obi-Wan was to an extent.
100%.
Because he, I mean, not for nothing, if you guys started killing kids, I might want to kill you too. But I think that him not being
power.
him not
immediately wanting to kill him,
or I was going to say him not trying to pull him back,
bring him back.
This isn't really my friend that's doing this. This is my friend under the influence and under the manipulation of the dark side of the Force. Like he's just a pawn in whatever mercurial aspect of the Force that has. I think that was something that shows how flawed Obi-Wan was.
Okay. I love that. For the record, I love that that's the deeper meaning. You've had a couple of them tonight too, but like I definitely appreciate that. Listen, Star Wars people, a lot of people take it for just like what it is, so it's lightsabers and fights in the space and shit. But like again, I mean, it's what George Lucas tried to make it into, and what I think a lot of us take it into. It's again, same thing with Marvel, same thing with DC. Like this is something that's bigger than that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you can get into that shit and not just be like laser swords in space.
There's more.
Exactly.
And I mean, it comes from the mind of somebody who was obviously passionate about these ideas that he had, and he wanted to see it all the way through. So he wanted to show them as human. I mean, that's why you have Anakin literally crying as he's killing children because he thinks it's the only way he can save his wife.
Yep, exactly.
If a man is pushed to that point, they're going to be desperate. Number 1, you guys put it at, what the fuck was it, 7? I put it at number 1, Return of the Jedi. I cannot... The emotion behind that movie is, I think, bar none in all Star Wars. I mean, you have... For me, it comes down to the moments in that movie, but Luke revealing that Leia's his sister.
Yeah.
Han being like, Leia loves Luke. Surprise.
That's weird.
Like, yeah, strange.
Incest is fun.
And then there was even, like, I was talking to my dad about it. Apparently at the time, everybody thought that Luke might turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Because they were like, why is he wearing black robes?
And the flap.
And then the flap pulls open and you see that it was light on the inside. He was always good on the inside.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm also a sucker for like those, like the
Could
redemption.
be, and
Like,
you also like bad guys.
I also love bad guys. So like, but you have Vader, the ultimate bad guy, who has done so much wrong in his entire life, and it's like he's like, I can't kill my son. I can't just sit here and watch my son die.
Even though in episode 5 he was literally trying to kill him when he was talking to the Emperor.
No,
He wasn't.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
No, well, he was saying he wasn't gonna kill him, but in episode 5, remember when he's having to sit down with him and he's saying, he's just a boy. What did he say? He's just a boy.
Yeah.
Remember? And it's like.
That's why you have to read the comics, because that was all a game.
Oh no!
He had found out who Luke was before episode 5, and he's like, he got so pissed. That's a scene like Boba Fett is the guy.
No,
who
I know
told
exactly
him.
the comic strip you're talking
exactly.
about.
Boba Fett literally is like, the pilot's name was Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
and you just see him staring at the glass and nothing, and Boba's like, so I guess we're done here, and leaves, and Vader goes, how could he keep this information from me? I have a son. He goes, I will turn my son, and we will kill the Emperor. He goes, because he felt the betrayal from the Emperor. That was the moment where he's like, I'm going to kill the fucking Emperor. So, I mean, that just adds so much more depth. Like, Vader's awesome.
I will say one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars is when Luke and Vader are on the catwalk right before they go up to the Death Star.
Yep.
And they're just talking one-on-one together for like the first time, like actually
in the elevator.
Shit.
And you could hear him just go, it's too late for me, my son. Like that cuts you to the core. It's like, that guy thinks he's so fucking
And at that point, he's like he is fully back to like the light side is what you could say. Like, but just to see him finally do that, like at the end of it. Because like, yes.
You can see the cracks in the armor.
You can see the cracks in the but you can see the self-hatred that he has for himself. He's just like, I'm beyond redemption. There's nothing I can do.
And that's the thing. It's like a part of him still holds on to that dark side. And like when Luke does take his mask off and everything, and he just says, he's like, it's too, like you said, it's too late for me, whatever. And then Luke makes that decision of like, well, you're coming with me and everything like that. That does, like you said, it shows that, he completely had, in episode 6, he did have a little bit of dark side left, but then boom, in the blink of an eye, when he gets finally face to face with the son, he can kind of like say like, no, son, like, listen, it's on me. I'm sorry I didn't come back. But like at the same time, we're good. And Luke was like, nope, that's, you're coming with me. In the what is it, what freaking wing, what class is that?
I just call it the shuttle.
Imperial shuttle. I think it actually literally just might be like an Imperial officer shuttle. Yeah,
it's Imperial officer shuttle.
Okay, but I love that, Todd.
That's it.
Thank you for the list, Todd.
Okay, so me 5 through 1. 5 is Rogue One. It's just a good movie in general with great characters. I loved everyone in it. I got attached to everyone that was there, even in the short amount of time I was there.
Yeah.
And the Vader hallway scene just propelled this to the top of the list, just because I don't think I've ever felt a pure, visceral, sadistic, evil joy watching him just mercilessly cut down those insurrectionist, terrorist, rebel scum bastards.
You rebel scum.
I was just, my mouth was just on the floor, just, I was smiling, laughing. Like,
Ricky does the face like that.
Fucking awesome.
That was wild.
Dude.
Just the exercise of raw power that he had that we were never actually able to see up until that point.
Yeah. And that was only like a fragment of what was actually done.
A fraction of his actual power.
Yeah. Like he's in a hallway.
Yeah.
Imagine what he's done on like the battlefields, like you've like stated with like original Rebel stuff. But dude,
so that's it up there. Clone Wars, the series. Dave Filoni is pretty much the only reason there has not been a complete fan revolt of Star Wars at this point.
Because he saved it.
Because he saved it, and this is his baby. This is his brainchild. This is everything. It is because of his doing. Obviously, like you stated before, it starts off weak. The first 3 seasons are
Yeah.
Yeah, they're content. That's all it is.
There's some good, relevant stuff in between, but along the way, you do develop a compassion for the clones. I think there are things that are covered in the first 3 seasons, like where I don't know if the attack on Kamino is in season 4 or season 3, but that's
with 99.
Yeah, with 99.
Yep.
I want to say it's 3, but I'm probably wrong.
I can't. There's so many episodes that I can't remember which is which. But as soon as you get into like season 4, 5, 6, that's when shit just starts getting real heavy.
Yeah,
and like that's some of the best Star Wars that we get to see.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that I've had several friends that are like, "Yo, why do you like the Clone Wars? I'm through season 1 and this is shit." I'm like, "Dude, you have to plow through it."
Yep.
And you did it to me. And I said the same thing. I'm like, "Is this really like? Are you sure?"
No, listen, I don't want to be. I'm never that guy to say like I did it, but no, I'm not. But I literally, the only reason I was telling you guys wasn't to gloat about after. It's about. Because I knew how you guys would appreciate it like I do as that Star Wars fan that's not just like, light swords.
And shit, what was I going to say?
What am I going to do? Face down the whole First Order with a laser sword?
Yeah. All right.
That's what he does.
Number 3, Mando. Like you said, it's literally been everything and more that I could have.
I love that, though. I love that you have Mando at 3. That's so sick.
Like,
says a lot for the series.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, just to even have it, like, in all of our lists as high as it is.
Recency bias also plays into it, too.
No, of course, but, I mean, I don't think it completely does, you know.
Again, Favreau and Filoni are doing everything right. They respect the lore. They care about the product. The only thing I wish is that they would just do hour episodes.
Of course. I mean,
it's so bad.
That's every
30
show
minutes
that
is
Disney,
they give you a taste, and then it's just nope. We're taking the bull away until next Friday.
I also hate that Disney does it where like they the time 8 minutes left at the end is like how much they leave you with. So you'll see like there's 9 minutes left in the episode, and then like boom, a minute in it goes to commercial. Like have you noticed that? Like if you're watching like Falcon and Winter Soldier, it'll say 12 minutes left. You'll watch 3 minutes of it, and then boom, 7 minutes of credits. Yeah. There's the post-credit scene or whatever in the middle, but like it does the first little bit of credits that like Easter egg shit is in, post-credit scene, then like you're just regular credits for 5 minutes. You're like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, just give me the show.
Right, all of it.
Number 2, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God.
It's arguably the best Star Wars movie. It has the most iconic movie quote of all time. It's not just Star Wars in all of cinema history. I really can't say anything bad about it. It's written beautifully. The story is told beautifully. The cinematography is great for the time. You can actually feel the emotions of Luke when he's realizing, like, wait, Vader's not fucking around here.
Yeah,
he's actually my dad. Like, he would have killed me by now if I wasn't. And yeah, so
no, it's just it's a masterpiece for what it's from, and that's not biased. That's like actually just like it's a really
objectively
great
movie.
Exactly,
Yes.
Regardless if you like it or not. Same thing as like The Godfather. You don't have to be Italian to think it's a masterpiece.
Yes.
Like,
and number 1, Revenge of the Sith. It's my personal favorite
because I'm not Italian.
When was it?
Revenge of the Sith is my personal favorite.
boy.
The tragedy of Anakin Skywalker coming to a close, and the rise of Vader from that. I think the entire final act was done beautifully. I know the prequels get shit on with their over-reliance on exposition and CGI. But I think they did a really good job of at least like making sure that CGI and like not like overtly blasting it to the crowd. Like, look at what we can do with computers now in movies.
Exactly, yeah.
Like they were just doing it, but also the storytelling was there at the same time, and it moved at a very good pace.
Yeah.
And the entire time, like you had the impending, or you knew that the other shoe was about to drop because things were going so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Grievous was dead. The war was about to be over. Dooku was dead.
Right there. We were like there.
The end was right there. And so quickly things changed on a dime because Palpatine planted these seeds, and Anakin was vulnerable. And like you were saying, when a person is desperate, they will go to unnatural lengths and unusual lengths to protect the ones that they love.
Yep.
And he pretty much did it out of ignorance. I'd like to think if people are traveling through hyperspace, I'm sure that they could figure out how to deliver babies safely. But
Well, she was sad.
She was sad.
She lost the will to live.
Yes.
What can you do at that point?
I mean, listen. If you want to get into it that way, you would say.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the soulmates that you've ever seen, and it was that context of like they can't live without each other, and the fact that Anakin was too far gone. That
And Anakin was the one who just the actions that he took. He fulfilled the prophecy.
Yeah.
He fulfilled the visions that he had.
Yes,
So
exactly.
had he done nothing, Padme would be fine. And
I had
still
a
be Jedi.
I had a Padme conspiracy theory, and I'm blacked out on it. I can't think of it.
We
but
need to.
It was a good one. If I remember,
can't just bring that up.
No. Listen, it's
one,
like
but,
it's nothing
no
crazy. No, it's nothing crazy. But like the concept is basically that like something with Vader literally killed her. But when I'll remember it and I'll tell you guys.
Yeah,
I'll
please do.
like text you. But it's a great theory actually.
The just again going back to the final act when they first get onto Mustafar and you can see like when Obi-Wan is confronting Anakin and you could see Padme just begging him like don't do this. Like, you don't have to do this. We're gonna go away. Like this isn't and he immediately starts the process of what I think essentially just kills her as he force chokes her.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Obi-Wan's like, I cannot believe that you've fallen this far, and like I cannot let you get to this.
Yeah.
And the whole exchange of just.
Well, and even after watching Clone Wars season 7, a lot of people have pointed out, it speaks to that even more because Obi-Wan knew in season 7 that Padme and Anakin were a thing. I mean, he knew earlier
Everyone
probably,
knew Anakin
of course,
and they were a thing.
but it showed that he was someone that would like in episode 2, he literally says, Anakin, like you cannot go save her. Like you have to. It's not the Jedi. Like you have to come and do this.
That just shows how out of touch he was. I mean, I know it's in a galaxy full of
that's how out of touch the Jedi were.
But Obi-Wan was so consumed.
Humanity.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan was so consumed by the right thing to do, but was also so on the other side because of his master. And the reasoning behind it is like
Qui-Gon was more of a philosophically.
He's gray. I mean, he's gray. I don't give a shit if Disney's gonna block this video because they don't canonize the term gray. But Qui-Gon was a gray Jedi. It's also, black and white.
Liam, I'm sure Qui-Gon got around. Come on now. Obi-Wan got around.
Obi-Wan got around.
Obi-Wan is a kid that we don't want to talk about.
Did Obi-Wan get around? Like, I mean,
he fell in love with Satine.
Yes.
He loved Satine. He more than likely had a kid.
GoPro, yeah. It's alright.
Okay.
You won't go.
Well, you only got one. You did your last one, so just keep talking.
He had a kid, which is the nephew.
Yeah, what was his name? It was some stupid.
It was some stupid name.
Ducky.
It wasn't Ducky.
Quacker. So Obi-Wan was
it.
He wasn't a hypocrite, but he was. I think he was just trying to protect Anakin in the eyes of the Council because they knew how.
Agreed.
And Obi-Wan had probably made the mistake too, or almost made the mistake, and he's like, I don't want you to possibly get invested in this because look at what happened to me, or could have happened to me.
To Satine, he was like, I would have left. I would have left the order.
Yeah.
But I agree.
And final point, I think this movie was John Williams at his best. I don't think there was a better score for any of the movies than Revenge of the Sith.
No, you're right. You're definitely right on that.
I really do think that.
I could agree. I can agree with that absolutely.
Yeah.
Ricky, thank you for your list.
Thank you.
All right, 5, Clone Wars. Like we spoke about earlier, I mean, I've been watching it from the beginning. Sadly enough, it's kind of like The Walking Dead with me. Like, I am so invested now that I couldn't get to that point. So 1, 2, and 3 were out, and that was when I was in a point of I couldn't tell Star Wars fans to watch it because I was like, oh boy, like I don't know if you guys are gonna like it that much. 4, 5, and 6 came. I was like, oh shit, this is content that I love. The other reason I love Clone Wars, similar to why I have Rogue One at number 4, is the fact that when I was a kid, I was so invested with the war behind it. I was a history buff. I still love the concept of wars and why we fight them and what they do and what happens. And it's just such an awesome concept. So everyone loved Star Wars because you saw Hoth, you saw this, you saw that.
Is we shouldn't pull out of Afghanistan and Iraq.
1,000% absolutely not. We should put more troops on the ground. Kidding. But for me as a kid, I loved and was so invested with just the scenarios I'd build with my toys and what I'd be in my backyard. I'd just go into the woods for hours with my lightsaber and my gun, and like that was me, like at my best. I just did all that shit.
You peaked at 8 years old.
Literally, 100%. And I was on my trampoline jumping around with them, fighting. Like, that was me. My imagination controlled what I thought Star Wars was, with the wars, with the clone troopers, the battles, everything like that. And Clone Wars and Rogue One were able to give me that. And even as an adult, more matured, where my brain could be more, oh my God, I love that battle strategy. I can't believe they did that. Just, I know it sounds dorky and I know it sounds lame, but it was awesome to watch that as a more adult version of my childhood self, where I was like, shit, this is the stuff that I've wanted. That's why Rogue One's at my number 4. I always wanted a battle scene, and we never got 4, 5, and 6 did not have that. Hoth was amazing, but for what it was, it could have been longer, it could have been more action-driven. Sure. There was a lot that went on with it, but like for what it is, it's not that massive. It's not like bombs, boom, this, explosions, Jedi fighting on the battlefield. Vader was technically there and fighting. He didn't. He just walked in a room. All these things. When I watched Rogue One is choppy. It has those where you're like, you know, it goes from this and that and this and that, and I still love it. I think it's great. That's why it's on my thing. But when I was able to finally see that battle scene, and again, no one made it out. Like, those guys didn't, like, Saw Gerrera died. Yep. Jen Erso died. Galen Erso died. Like, it wasn't that, like, oh, like, Disney's like, everybody's gonna survive? Like, no, it was, like, all these people died, protecting exactly what we saw. And then not only that, when they pivoted and completely tied all these things into episode 4, and then at the end we're like, thought this was done, right? Boom. And how they got it. And, like, yes, some people would try to nitpick it and say, well, they could have just uploaded the flat. Like, it's not the point. The point is that you were trapped in the hallway with the most powerful person in the galaxy. And he's straight up like, I need that. I would very much like to take that from you, and I'm going to murder every single person on the Tantin...
Tantin 4.
No, Tantin 4 was what Leia was on, and they separated ships, remember?
Good poll. Oh, my apologies. My apologies.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. But again, that's why Clone Wars and that, and again, Clone Wars, I was backing it for so long, and I had so many people the same way. Dude, what? It's a fucking cartoon show. And look at what we've done now. People started watching Avatar again. People started watching these shows, and they love it. Rick and Morty, you could say. Rick and Morty's an adult show. Clone Wars, no, it's not an adult show.
They explore adult themes.
Season 7 of Clone Wars, I would very much say is an adult show from that, like you said, Todd, that final arc. Oh my God, if that isn't like just the best, some of the best Star Wars content compressed into 4 episodes or 4...
30 minutes.
30-minute so in 2 hours.
Give or take.
Just like Ahsoka just being like, I'm not going to kill these clones.
Yeah, and just like...
They're not doing... Like, it's not their fault.
Literally, and I mean, like... And everyone always laughs because it's like Obi-Wan and Yoda, like, exactly, the memes.
And then
it's like
Anakin and like Cody. I'm glad we stay friends.
Yeah, Yoda and Obi-Wan went to the temple. We're like, we're not going to be your guys' friends, but, you know, just do. But again, those are why those are there for me. I was finally able to explore that. Episode 3, number 3 is A New Hope. New Hope for me is 3 because of kind of how I explained it. When that crawl began when I was a kid, I remember it. I put it in the VCR and I watched it. And that crawl when I was like, I can't read any of this because I'm illiterate, but this is cool. And just the fact that all happened and just you got that intro to all these characters and you're like, oh my God, this is so sick. Space opera, whatever you want to call it. All these guys are so cool. I wanted to be Han Solo, but I wanted to be Luke. Yeah. But I was like, Leia's pretty cool because you thought she was innocent. She's really a badass. Chewbacca's the best. Terrorist. But
Insurrectionist.
You know,
I love that you pulled that.
New Hope, is it the best out of them? No. I mean, you could make the case that some of the newer movies are better than The New Hope, like cinematically and put together wise and whatever. Is it? No. But again, New Hope's my number 3, and it also is, again, the nostalgia factor with it. My number 2 and my number 1 are yours reversed. It's hard for me to rate it. And listen, I will be the first one to say, Episode 3 I used to shit on. I used to say, I'm like, I don't... Because again, I didn't think Hayden Christensen's character was as good as it could have been, because in Episode 2, I think it kind of like rubs me the wrong way at certain points where I'm like, you are just so monotone, and I get it. But the older I've gotten, the more I've respected the fact that that's what he had to play. Because Anakin was this kid that's fighting this fact that he's the most powerful Jedi ever, basically a god to these people, of being the chosen one, not knowing he's the chosen one, knowing he's the chosen one, but like doesn't know how to express these feelings. He's a teen going through puberty, and he's not allowed to act on it, and he's learning all these powers, and he has a really bad influence in his ear, but then he has literally a father figure in his other ear. His father figure, who saved his life, literally was murdered. Like, all these things. Yep. And again, I mean, like we've said in the pod, just
he had
the
a cougar
music.
for a girlfriend.
Yeah, he had a cool girlfriend that was
Cougar.
20 years older than him. The cinematography
Well, no,
in the movie.
I honestly think Padme was about like 16 or so at the age.
And he was, what, 8?
Phantom Menace, he was an 8, so.
She was a cool day.
Age is relative in space.
Cool, 25 years now.
Yeah, congrats on the older girl, bro. Like,
Much success.
How long does it take Naboo to rotate around the sun?
You gotta
Tatooine's got 2 suns.
Yeah.
True.
Gravity,
true.
I
He
guess,
might
is
have been
sped up
25
there,
in dog years. Yeah, Anakin could be older than we think.
That's right.
But, I mean, just Revenge of the Sith, the more I've watched it, that scene to me also is just like, I mean, it's just such a amazingly put together scene. And, like, yeah, people will say, like, oh, again, it's just whatever. But if you are so invested like we are in Star Wars, when you watch that scene go off and you understand it, like, people will watch it and they'll be like, oh, that was cool. That was a really good fight. It was choreographed well. The music was put together well. And it was a cool concept. But for us, knowing everything that we had seen to get to that point where these guys that were literally brothers, like literally a father figure, if you want to put it that way. But I put more like brothers,
I'd say
like
brothers.
just that tear of where your brother just goes and does that thing that you don't want him to do, and it's just like there's no turning him back. And it's just like we're all lucky that I don't think any of our brothers have done anything like that where we can never talk to them again, kind of a thing. But it's just like
Colin.
just Connor. Your brother.
nah.
He's already turned to the dark side. He's already been on the pod too.
Yes, he has.
But I mean,
Current
that's
guest.
why it's my number 2. I think it's such a good movie. And number 1 is Empire. Empire is my favorite, and it's really, I would say Episode 3 is my favorite because, again, I went to the movies. I saw it on my birthday. Like, I think it actually came out around my birthday.
May 25th.
Yeah, so I think it was only 2 weeks old from when it came out for us, right around our birthday, your 25th birthday, my 12th birthday. But just in general, you know, why I like it so much is kind of the story that I explained. Like, I watched Episode 4 and I was like, this is cool, but Episode 5 didn't come out like a couple years later. I just put it right in. So I put the next movie and I was like, oh, this is wild. This is sick. And just like, again, as a kid, whenever it snowed, I was in Hoth. Anytime as a child it snowed, I was outside in boots. My dad would like plow up, make the mounds for me, like the trenches, and I'd just like post up for hours, just running around, shooting shit. My imagination is yeah, it's literally, dude. I'm not even kidding you. As a child, I would convince that I could see them over the tree line. I could just see them, and I was fighting them and everything. But again, it's probably the best ranked one besides Episode 3, and it is because of, again, it's a timeless movie. It's a movie that I would promote to someone that just likes movies. Like,
Agreed.
yeah, like if you don't like the sci-fi factor, no, don't watch it, but you can watch it and have a respect for it and be like, okay, that's a really cool movie. That's really well put together. If they watch Episode 4 to tie into 5, I think there's nothing better than it from what the story that it's telling with it. And you know, I think we're all so passionate about Star Wars because now we've had so much that we can invest in these properties, and it's sad that 7, 8, and 9, you know, I mean, they don't tie in like everything else that we talked about. Like, we're talking about how Clone Wars ties in so well with Episode 3 and Phantom Menace and this and Mando, and we're literally we're like, oh, I can't wait for Mando. Who's Ben Solo? More like Ben YOLO. All right, I'm getting tired, so we got to end this. But
Yeah, we're going on almost 3 hours.
yeah,
here.
exactly. So that was my number 1. Again, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I'm
Thank
so
you for
excited
having
we
us,
got
Frank.
to. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate it. But again, I'm so happy we could finally talk about this. I know I've brought this up to Frank, but in the next couple weeks, months, years, whatever we choose to do. We originally did a Game of Thrones draft where we made offensive and defensive teams, and I want to do the same thing with Star Wars soon, so you guys will both be on with another guest of our choosing where we'll do twos and we'll come up with the concept of drafting players for your team, and we'll make some teams with it. So that'll be a concept down the line.
Cool.
But guys, thank you so much again for coming on. Frank/Luke, thank you for having me and letting me host this amazing podcast. And If you guys don't already, like, subscribe, follow,
Share.
share. Bye.
May the force be with you.
That too.
Flex is also your lifestyle, and essentially Flexiplex is a lifestyle brand. So the mission is to help clients reach their untapped potential, because sometimes we have to get out of our own way, or the things that we're used to doing just aren't working anymore. And I want to guide people down the right path to make the right decisions, and not only when it comes to exercising and just living a fit lifestyle, but also when it comes to habits. What I do is online performance coaching, and the good thing about it is that you don't actually need to be on a FaceTime with me or a Zoom call. So there's an app, we communicate, I create a personalized program for you. You can tell me, hey, I go to the LA Fitness down the street, and then I'll look up that gym and I'll see how it's laid out, and I will create a program that you can do over there.
Oh.
So you have access to videos, exercise demonstration, what it's working on, sets and reps, and we communicate every week.